What if the outcast they scorned held the power of a king? Forget Kurama's rage. Imagine Naruto wielding gold release, commanding golden tsunamis and an unbreakable defense. How would a world that gave him nothing react when he could control the ultimate symbol of wealth and absolute power?
The night air carried the scent of sake and hatred through the streets of Konoha. Naruto Uzumaki ran, his small 6-year-old legs pumping desperately as the mob closed in behind him. He'd only wanted some ramen for his birthday, just one bowl to celebrate alone like he did every year. But the restaurant owner had screamed at him, thrown a bottle, and suddenly half the district was chasing him with murder in their eyes. Demon brat! Kill it before it destroys us all! This ends tonight! Naruto stumbled into a dead-end alley, his back hitting the cold stone wall. 20 villagers blocked the only exit, some holding makeshift weapons, others with their hands crackling with chakra. The boy's blue eyes widened as he recognized the killing intent radiating from them. He'd felt it before, but never this intense, never this real. Please, Naruto whispered, holding up his small hands. I didn't do anything. Your existence is the crime. A man lunged forward with a kunai. Fear exploded through Naruto's body. He didn't want to die. He didn't want to be alone anymore. He didn't want... The ground beneath them erupted. Golden light blazed from the earth itself as veins of pure, gleaming gold burst through the stone and dirt like roots of an impossible tree. The metal moved with liquid grace, forming protective barriers between Naruto and his attackers. Tendrils of gold shot upward, wrapping around weapons and wrists, halting the mob mid-charge. What the hell? Gold? How is there gold? The metal responded to Naruto's terror, expanding outward in waves. More gold poured from the ground, from beneath the buildings, from deposits deep in the earth that shouldn't have been reachable. It swirled around the boy in a defensive cocoon, shimmering with an otherworldly beauty, even as it served as an impenetrable shield. Naruto stared at his own hands, feeling the connection to the gold. It was part of him now, responding to his will, his emotions, his desperate need to survive. He could sense each grain of golden dust, each molecule of the precious metal within his growing sphere of influence. Magnet release? A calm voice cut through the chaos. Impossible. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, stood at the alley's entrance in his combat robes, his aged face a mixture of shock and disbelief. His experienced eyes tracked the gold flowing around Naruto like living water, defying every law of chakra he understood. Lord Hokage! The villagers fell back, shame coloring their faces. The demon. Hiruzen's voice carried absolute authority. Now, and if I hear of anyone laying hands on this child again, you will face me personally. The mob scattered like leaves in the wind. Hiruzen approached slowly, watching the gold recede as Naruto's fear subsided. The metal didn't disappear, it pooled around the boy's feet, coating the ground in a thin layer of protective dust that seemed to breathe with his chakra. Naruto, the Hokage said gently, kneeling before the trembling child. Look at me. Blue eyes met his, filled with confusion and terror, and something else, power that shouldn't exist in a leaf shinobi. What happened to me? Naruto asked, his voice small. Hiruzen studied the gold dust, reaching out to touch it. The metal shifted away from his hand, protecting its master instinctively. You've awakened a bloodline ability, Naruto. Magnet release, the power to control magnetic forces and metallic substances, specifically gold dust. But how? I thought only the Kazekage. The fourth Kazekage of Tsunagakure, Rasa, was indeed the most famous wielder of gold dust manipulation, Hiruzen confirmed, his mind racing through possibilities. But you have both wind and earth chakra natures. It's theoretically possible that the combination produced this result naturally, though I've never heard of it happening before. What the Hokage didn't say, what he couldn't explain, was the sheer volume and control Naruto had demonstrated. Even Rasa, renowned across nations for his gold manipulation, had never shown this level of instinctive mastery. The boy had pulled gold from deposits deep beneath the Earth's surface, manipulated it with precision, and created defenses that would have required years of training to achieve. This was something different, something more. Am I a monster? Naruto whispered, staring at the gold coating his hands. No. Hiruzen placed a hand on the boy's shoulder, feeling the protective gold dust resist before allowing the touch. You're powerful, Naruto, and power frightens people. But I'm going to help you learn to control this gift. I'll assign you tutors, give you access to the library's sealing techniques and jutsu scrolls. You'll master this ability, and one day, you'll use it to protect this village. Naruto looked up, hope flickering in his eyes. Really? Really? Hiruzen smiled softly. Happy birthday, Naruto. Your life just changed forever. The years that followed transformed Naruto Uzumaki from a desperate, lonely child into something the village had never seen before. A gold wielder who made the legendary Rasa look like an amateur by comparison, Hiruzen kept his promise. He assigned Naruto private training grounds, where the boy could practice without frightening civilians, provided scrolls detailing magnetic manipulation theories, and even found records of Rasa's known techniques in Konoha's intelligence archives. But what amazed the Hokage most was how quickly Naruto surpassed those documented abilities. By age 7, Naruto could extract gold from deposits hundreds of feet beneath the surface, pulling the precious metal through soil and stone with mere thoughts. The gold responded to him like an extension of his body, moving from solid to liquid to dust at his will. He discovered he could sense anything touching his gold. Every vibration, every pressure point, every presence within his sphere of influence became known to him. Gold dust waterfall flow. 8-year-old Naruto thrust his hands forward, sending a massive wave of golden particles crashing against the training ground's reinforced walls. The technique was one of Rasa's signature moves, but where the Kazekage had needed hand seals and concentration, Naruto executed it with casual ease. He experimented constantly, pushing his abilities beyond documented limits. The scrolls described gold as a defensive and binding element, but Naruto refused to be limited. He liquefied gold and launched it as projectiles, gold splash attacks that hit with the force of cannonballs. He compressed gold dust into explosive constructs, gold bomb techniques that detonated with devastating force. He covered himself in protective golden coating, gold armor that turned his body into an impenetrable fortress. But his most terrifying discovery came at age 9, when he created what he called parasitic gold dust. Gold parasites! Naruto released a cloud of microscopic gold particles so fine they were invisible to the naked eye. He tested it on training dummies first, watching the particles attach and infiltrate, allowing him to control every movement of the target. It was similar to puppet techniques, but far more insidious. Anyone who touched his gold became subject to his will. The third Hokage watched these training sessions with growing concern and pride. Concern because Naruto's power was genuinely frightening. Pride because the boy was using that power with intelligence and creativity. You're far beyond what Rasa ever achieved, Hiruzen told Naruto during one session. The Fourth Kazekage was powerful, but you've surpassed him in every measurable way. Your control is finer, your range is greater, and your versatility is unprecedented. Naruto grinned, gold dust swirling around him like a living aurora. That's because I don't just copy what he did, old man. I make the gold do what I need it to do. It's not about following someone else's style, it's about making my own. That attitude defined Naruto's development. He studied Rasa's techniques. Gold dust drizzle for aerial bombardment, gold dust imperial funeral for crushing opponents, gold dust protective wall for defense, gold dust binding for restraint. But he never simply replicated them. Instead, he incorporated the concepts into his own evolving combat style, combining techniques in ways no one had imagined. By age 10, Naruto could create massive golden constructs, walls spanning hundreds of feet, tendrils that could reach across the training ground, platforms that supported his weight as he moved through the air. He discovered he could transform entire sections of his environment into gold by infusing the ground with his chakra, turning battlefields into his personal domain. Gold divine punishment. Naruto formed a massive golden fist above the training ground, easily 50 feet in diameter, and brought it crashing down. The impact crater was visible from the Hokage Tower. The village's perception of Naruto shifted slowly. They still feared him. The whispers about the Nine Tails never completely disappeared, but now that fear was mixed with awe. This wasn't just the demon container anymore. This was a wielder of magnet-release gold dust, a power associated with Kage-level strength, walking their streets. Naruto still faced discrimination. Shop owners still overcharged him or refused service. Children still avoided him at the academy. But now when they whispered, it wasn't just about the demon. It was about the gold-eyed monster who could pull fortunes from the earth and crush enemies with living metal. The academy years were a joke for Naruto's abilities, but necessary for his development as a shinobi. He attended classes, learned theory, practiced basic techniques alongside his peers. But where other students struggled with the clone jutsu or kunai throwing, Naruto could create gold duplicates that fooled even the instructors, could launch gold projectiles with pinpoint accuracy, could defend against any attack with barriers that materialized instantly. "Show off," Sakura Haruno muttered as Naruto created a perfect gold sculpture of the first Hokage for their art assignment. The metal captured every detail with impossible precision. "It's not showing off if you're just that good," Naruto shot back with a grin. His confidence had grown with his power. He wasn't the desperate child begging for attention anymore. He was the strongest student in their year by an absurd margin, and he knew it. Sasuke Uchiha watched Naruto with barely concealed frustration. The Uchiha prodigy was accustomed to being the best, the strongest, the one everyone admired. But Naruto's gold manipulation was so overwhelming, so visually spectacular, that even Sasuke's considerable skills looked mundane by comparison. During sparring sessions, Naruto dominated without even trying. Gold dust would rise automatically when opponents attacked, forming shields that intercepted every strike. He didn't need to see attacks coming. His sensory abilities through the gold meant he felt every movement, every shift in pressure, every killing intent. Gold binding. Naruto gestured lazily, and golden tendrils erupted from the ground to wrap around 3 attackers simultaneously. They struggled uselessly as the metal constricted, ending the match before it really began. Iruka Umino, their instructor, could only shake his head. "Naruto wins. Again. Can you at least pretend to struggle so the others can learn something?" "Not my fault they're slow," Naruto replied, releasing his opponents. But there was no real malice in his voice. Just the easy confidence of someone who'd never lost a fight in his life. The truth was that Naruto trained harder than anyone suspected. Every night after academy classes, he'd go to his private training ground and push his abilities further. He created techniques inspired by stories he'd read, powers he'd imagined, applications he'd dreamed up during boring lectures. Gold rain, raining projectiles from above like a storm of precious metal. Gold inferno, superheating gold until it became molten death that trapped opponents in liquid metal prisons. Gold spear, piercing attacks that could punch through stone like paper. Each technique was practiced until it became second nature, until he could execute it with a thought. But his favorite discovery was what he called his awakened form, the ability to transform his surroundings into gold by flooding them with his chakra. It was exhausting, expensive in terms of chakra consumption, but the results were spectacular. Entire sections of forest became golden landscapes under his control. Every tree and stone and blade of grass converted into metal he could manipulate. One day, Naruto told himself while practicing under the stars, gold dust forming constellations around him, "I'm going to be Hokage. And when I am, no one will ever question whether I deserve it. They'll know I'm the strongest because I'll have proven it 1,000 times over." The determination burning in his chest was the same as it had always been. The lonely child's dream of being acknowledged, of being valued, of mattering to someone. But now that determination was backed by genuine, overwhelming power. Naruto Uzumaki wasn't just dreaming of being Hokage anymore. He was building the strength to make it inevitable. Graduation from the academy came and went without ceremony. Naruto scored perfectly on every practical exam, dominated the combat evaluations, and created a gold clone so realistic it fooled even the Hokage for several seconds. His transformation jutsu was flawless because he could coat himself in microscopic gold dust that perfectly mimicked any appearance. When Iruka handed him his headband, the instructor smiled genuinely. "You've come a long way, Naruto. I'm proud of you." Those words meant more to Naruto than any technique or power ever could. Acknowledgement, genuine and freely given from someone who saw past the demon container to the determined shinobi underneath. Thanks, Iruka-sensei. Naruto tied the headband across his forehead, letting gold dust swirl around it in celebration. Just watch. I'm going to be the greatest Hokage this village has ever seen. I believe you might just do it, Iruka replied softly. Team assignments brought Naruto face to face with the two people who would define much of his genin experience. Sakura Haruno, the girl who'd barely acknowledged his existence, and Sasuke Uchiha, the genius who viewed Naruto as simultaneously beneath him and frustratingly superior. Team 7, Iruka announced. Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha. Your Jonin instructor is Kakashi Hatake. Naruto felt the gold dust beneath his feet shift in response to his excitement. A team. People who would fight alongside him, who would see his strength firsthand, who might even become something like friends, Sakura groaned. Why do I get stuck with the show-off? Better than being stuck with the fangirl, Naruto shot back without heat. At least I can actually fight. What did you say? Sasuke said nothing, but his dark eyes tracked the gold dust flowing around Naruto like a living thing. The Uchiha had witnessed Naruto's power countless times during academy training, but he'd never understood it. Magnet release was supposed to be rare, limited to Tsunagakure bloodlines, yet here was this orphan, this nobody, wielding gold like it was an extension of his soul. Their Jonin instructor arrived 3 hours late. Kakashi Hatake appeared in a swirl of leaves, his visible eye curved in what might have been a smile beneath his mask. The man radiated casual competence, his posture relaxed despite being a renowned Jonin. But that visible eye sharpened immediately when it locked onto Naruto, or more specifically, onto the gold dust orbiting the boy like planetary rings. Interesting, Kakashi murmured. The reports didn't do you justice, Naruto. You're late, Naruto replied flatly. 3 hours late for our first meeting. That's pretty disrespectful, sensei. Sakura gasped at his tone, but Kakashi just chuckled. You're right. I apologize. Shall we move to a training ground? I'd like to test you all properly. Training Ground 3 became their meeting place, an area of forest and clearings that Kakashi apparently favored for team exercises. The Jonin produced 2 bells from his pouch, explaining the classic test. Take the bells before noon or go without lunch. Work together or fail individually. Begin. Sasuke and Sakura scattered to plan their approach. Naruto didn't move. Gold dust drizzle. Golden particles materialized above the training ground, creating a shimmering cloud that began to rain down in a controlled storm. Each grain of gold was a sensor, an extension of Naruto's awareness. Within seconds, he knew exactly where Kakashi was hiding, where Sasuke had positioned himself, where Sakura was attempting to formulate a strategy. Impressive sensory technique. Kakashi called from his position in the trees. But can you actually take the bells? Gold binding. Tendrils of liquid gold erupted from the earth beneath Kakashi's feet, moving faster than the Jonin had anticipated. Kakashi leaped away, but the gold followed, multiplying and branching like roots seeking water. More gold poured from the ground with every passing second. Naruto was pulling it from deposits deep underground, flooding the battlefield with his element. Gold dust waterfall flow. Naruto thrust both hands forward, sending a massive wave of golden particles crashing toward Kakashi's position. The sheer volume was staggering, tons of gold moving with the force of a tsunami. Kakashi's visible eye widened as he performed a substitution jutsu, swapping with a log that was immediately engulfed and crushed by the golden wave. He reappeared on a tree branch, reassessing his opponent. This wasn't a Genin-level technique. This was Kage-level manipulation. Gold spear! Naruto formed a massive spear of solid gold and hurled it at Kakashi with devastating force. The Jonin dodged, but 3 more spears formed instantly, launching from different angles. Gold dust swirled through the air, creating projectiles faster than Kakashi could track. Naruto, wait! Sakura shouted. We're supposed to work together. I don't need help with this, Naruto replied, his eyes glowing faintly gold as his power surged. Gold armor. His body became coated in a seamless layer of gold that flowed like liquid but resisted like steel. He moved forward with confidence, knowing that any attack Kakashi launched would be intercepted by his automatic defenses. Kakashi tried taijutsu, appearing behind Naruto in a burst of speed. His kunai struck the gold armor and bounced off harmlessly. Before he could retreat, gold tendrils wrapped around his wrist. Got you. Naruto grinned as more gold flowed up Kakashi's arm, restraining the Jonin's movements. Gold parasites. Microscopic gold particles invaded Kakashi's clothing, his hair, his skin. Within seconds, Naruto could feel every muscle, every movement the Jonin made. He could control Kakashi like a puppet if he wanted to. The bells are mine, Naruto said simply. Reaching forward with gold-coated hands, Kakashi's form dissolved into lightning, a lightning clone. The real Kakashi stood at the edge of the training ground, both bells still attached to his belt, his visible eyes showing genuine surprise. You forced me to use a clone against a fresh genin, Kakashi said slowly. That's unprecedented. I'm not a normal genin. Naruto pulled more gold from the earth, creating a platform beneath his feet that lifted him into the air. And I'm not done yet. Gold divine punishment. A massive golden fist materialized above the training ground, easily 40 feet in diameter, casting a shadow over everything below. The chakra required for such a construct was enormous, but Naruto's reserve seemed bottomless. The fist began to descend with earth-shaking force. That's enough! Hiruzen's voice cut through the chaos. The third Hokage stood at the training ground's edge, his expression a mixture of pride and concern. Naruto, power down. You've proven your point. The golden fist dissipated into dust that rained down gently. Naruto landed, the gold armor fading from his body. Sorry, old man. Got a bit carried away. Kakashi stared at the crater where his clone had been, then at Naruto, then at the Hokage. Lord Hokage, with all respect, what exactly is this kid? The future of this village. Hiruzen replied quietly, among other things. After some discussion and a more conventional test that allowed Sakura and Sasuke to demonstrate their skills, Kakashi passed the team. But his visible eye kept returning to Naruto, calculating and recalculating what he'd witnessed. You three are now Team 7, Kakashi announced. We'll start missions tomorrow. Naruto, a word? When the others left, Kakashi studied the gold dust still swirling around Naruto's feet. I've fought the Fourth Kazekage. Your power is similar to his gold dust manipulation, but the scale and control are completely different. You're stronger than he was, aren't you? Probably. Naruto didn't see any reason to lie. I've read about his techniques. Mine are better. Confident. Realistic. Naruto met Kakashi's gaze without flinching. I've trained every day for 5 years to master this power. I'm not going to pretend I'm weak just to make people comfortable. Kakashi was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. Good. Don't ever hide your strength, Naruto, but learn to work with your team. Power means nothing if you can't protect the people who matter. I can protect them just fine. Can you? Kakashi's visible eye curved. What if they need protection from each other? What if the threat is too subtle for gold to stop? Power isn't everything, Naruto. Strategy, teamwork, intelligence, these things win wars. Naruto considered this, gold dust forming thoughtful patterns around him. Then I'll get better at those too. I don't just want to be strong, Sensei. I want to be unstoppable. We'll see, Kakashi replied. We'll see. The early missions were insultingly simple. D-rank tasks like catching pets, weeding gardens, and retrieving lost items. Naruto completed them with board efficiency, using gold dust to track missing cats through their scent particles, creating golden tools for gardening that worked 10 times faster than conventional methods, and generally demonstrating that he was wildly overqualified for this level of work. This is ridiculous, Naruto complained after their 7th straight day of menial labor. When do we get real missions? When you prove you can handle teamwork, Kakashi replied, though he privately agreed that Naruto's abilities were wasted on D ranks. That opportunity came sooner than expected. Tazuna, a bridge builder from the land of waves, requested protection on his journey home. It was supposed to be a simple C-rank escort mission, no ninja involvement expected. Team 7 accepted, and they set out the following morning. The first attack came at a puddle. Naruto sensed the ambush before the assassins even moved. Gold dust beneath the puddle detected the unusual weight, the unnatural water content, the wrongness of the situation. 2 enemies hiding in the puddle 10 meters ahead. Chakra signatures suggest shonen-level opponents. Kakashi's visible eye flickered to Naruto in surprise. The sensory abilities were more refined than he'd realized. Let's see how they react, Kakashi said quietly. When they passed the puddle, two mist ninja burst out with chain weapons, moving to kill Kakashi first. The Jonin allowed himself to be shredded by their attack. Testing his students' responses, Sasuke froze. Sakura screamed. Naruto acted. Gold binding. The chains wrapped around the assassin's weapons stopped mid-swing as liquid gold flowed up the metal, solidifying instantly to lock them in place. More gold erupted from the ground, wrapping around legs, arms, torsos, completely immobilizing both Mist Ninja before they could react. Kakashi's not dead, Naruto said calmly, watching the Jonin emerge from cover. That was a substitution, but these guys are definitely trying to kill us. Want me to handle it? I'll take it from here. Kakashi appeared beside the restrained assassins, his Sharingan visible for the first time. But good work on the instant response. The interrogation revealed that the assassins were targeting Tazuna, not Kakashi or his students. The mission had just jumped from C rank to at least B rank, possibly higher. Kakashi gave the team the option to turn back. Naruto refused outright. We accepted the mission, Naruto said firmly. We finish it. Sakura and Sasuke agreed, though Sakura looked nervous. They continued toward the land of waves, but everyone was on higher alert now. Naruto kept gold dust spread in a wide perimeter, creating an early warning system that covered hundreds of meters in all directions. He could feel every movement, every presence, every shift in the environment, which is why he sent Zabuza Momochi seconds before the legendary missing nin attacked. Down! Naruto shouted, creating a gold wall that intercepted a massive blade. The executioner's sword, Kubikiribocho, bit into the gold and stuck, unable to cut through the compressed metal. Zabuza Momochi appeared from the mist, his face wrapped in bandages, his presence radiating killing intent that would have paralyzed most genin. But Naruto had faced worse during training, had pushed himself past fear years ago. A mist sword, Naruto observed, studying the blade embedded in his wall. One of the seven. You must be Zabuza the Demon of the Mist. I've read about you. Smart kid. Zabuza ripped his sword free, eyeing the gold with interest. Magnet release? In a leaf genin? Interesting, but it won't be enough. We'll see about that. Naruto's eyes gleamed as gold dust began to pour from the ground in massive quantities. Kakashi-sensei, protect the others. I've got this one. Naruto, wait. But Naruto was already moving. Gold dust waterfall flow. A tsunami of gold dust crashed towards Zabuza with devastating force. The missing nin leaped away, but the gold followed, multiplying and spreading faster than he could escape. It wasn't just coming from one direction. Naruto was pulling gold from deposits all around them, flooding the entire area with his element. Hidden mist jutsu. Zabuza created a thick fog that obscured vision completely. Doesn't matter. Naruto stood calmly as gold dust swirled around him. I don't need to see you. I can sense everything touching my gold. And my gold is everywhere. He wasn't bluffing. The golden particles spread through the mist like a web, creating a sensory network that revealed Zabuza's position perfectly. Every movement the missing nin made sent ripples through the gold dust that Naruto felt instantly. Gold spear. Massive spears of solid gold erupted from multiple directions, forcing Zabuza to dodge desperately. Each spear was followed by more. Naruto was creating projectiles faster than Zabuza could avoid them, filling the battlefield with deadly golden constructs. Water style. Water dragon jutsu. Zabuza formed a massive dragon of water to clash with the gold. Gold Inferno! Naruto superheated his gold until it glowed red hot, turning Zabuza's water attack into steam on contact. The molten gold spread across the ground, creating a liquid metal trap that bubbled and hissed. Zabuza realized with growing alarm that he was being cornered. This wasn't a genin-level fight. This was something else entirely. The kid was manipulating gold on a scale that shouldn't be possible, with a level of control that rivaled Jonin specialists. Water clone jutsu. Zabuza created multiple clones to confuse Naruto's sensory network. Gold dust drizzle. Naruto raised his hand, and golden particles began raining from above in a controlled storm. Each raindrop struck the clones with enough force to disperse them instantly, while the real Zabuza was forced to keep moving. Kakashi watched from the sidelines, his Sharingan recording everything. He was ready to intervene if necessary, but Naruto was actually winning. The genin's tactical awareness was exceptional. He turned the entire battlefield into his domain, using gold to control space and eliminate Zabuza's options. Gold binding! Naruto gestured sharply, and tendrils of gold shot from the ground beneath Zabuza's feet. The missing nin dodged, but more tendrils appeared, then more, creating a cage of liquid metal that constricted his movement options. Zabuza attempted another water technique, but Naruto was faster. Gold armor! His body became coated in protective gold that deflected Zabuza's attack completely. Then Naruto counterattacked with devastating force. Gold divine punishment! A massive golden fist materialized above the battlefield, 50 feet in diameter, detailed down to individual knuckles and fingerprints, radiating chakra that made the air vibrate. It descended with the weight of judgment itself. Zabuza's eyes widened behind his bandages. Impossible. The fist crashed down with earth-shaking impact, creating a crater 30 feet deep. At the last second, Zabuza substituted with a water clone, appearing at the battlefield's edge, breathing hard. "You're too dangerous to leave alive," Zabuza said, raising his sword. "I'll have to use my full strength." 2 senbon needles struck his neck. Zabuza collapsed, apparently dead. A hunter nin appeared in a swirl of mist, thanking the team for weakening the missing nin and claiming the body for disposal. Naruto's gold dust detected the deception immediately. "That's not a real hunter nin. The needles put him in a death-like state. He's still alive." Kakashi nodded slowly. "I noticed, but we'll let them think we're fooled for now." "Why?" Sasuke demanded, frustrated at being sidelined during the entire fight. "Because Naruto just demonstrated abilities that will get back to several villages," Kakashi replied. "A leaf shinobi with magnet-release gold dust? Using it at this level? Every intelligence network in the elemental nations is going to want to know, Naruto." "Good." Naruto let the gold armor fade from his body. "Let them know. I'm not hiding anymore." The remaining journey to Tazuna's home was tense. The bridge builder explained the true situation. The shipping magnate Gato had taken control of the land of waves, and Tazuna's bridge represented the only hope for the island nation's freedom. That's why Gato had hired missing nin to kill him. "We're in way over our heads," Sakura whispered to Sasuke. "This is easily A rank now." "Naruto doesn't seem worried," Sasuke replied, watching the gold dust flow around their teammate like a living thing. "He dominated Zabuza." "Zabuza isn't done," Kakashi warned, "and he'll come back with a plan to counter Naruto's abilities. We need to prepare." They spent the next week training while waiting for the inevitable confrontation. Kakashi taught Sasuke and Sakura tree-walking exercises, helping them develop better chakra control. Naruto practiced on his own, refining techniques and expanding his gold reserves by pulling more metal from deep underground. The bridge became the final battlefield. Zabuza appeared again, this time fully prepared for Naruto's abilities. The hunter nin, revealed as a boy named Haku with ice manipulation techniques, stood at his side. Together, they represented a coordinated Jonin-level threat. "Let's see how your gold handles real speed," Zabuza said, while Haku created his signature ice mirrors. The battle erupted instantly. Haku moved between mirrors at blinding velocity, launching senbon from multiple angles. Sasuke and Sakura struggled to track him, their Chunin-level skills insufficient against the specialist speed. But Naruto didn't try to track Haku with his eyes. Gold dust drizzle. The sky filled with golden particles that created a sensory web throughout the battlefield. Every mirror, every senbon, every movement Haku made sent vibrations through Naruto's gold. He could sense the attacks coming before they even launched. Gold armor. His body coated in protective gold that deflected the senbon effortlessly. Then he counterattacked with precision. Gold spear. Multiple spears erupted from different directions, each one targeting a mirror. Haku dodged desperately, but Naruto was controlling dozens of projectiles simultaneously, predicting movement patterns, cutting off escape routes. Water prison jutsu. Zabuza attempted to trap Naruto, but gold dust formed a barrier instantly, preventing the water from making contact. "You can't touch me," Naruto stated calmly. "My gold defends me automatically, and I can sense everything you do." This fight was over before it started. He wasn't being arrogant, just factual. His abilities perfectly countered both opponents. Zabuza's water techniques couldn't penetrate gold barriers. Haku's speed meant nothing when Naruto could sense his location through the golden particles coating every surface. Gold binding. Tendrils erupted from beneath multiple mirrors simultaneously, wrapping around ice constructs and shattering them. Haku leaped free, but more gold appeared, forcing him to keep moving. Hit and miss jutsu. Zabuza tried again to obscure the battlefield. Gold splash! Naruto launched waves of liquid gold through the mist, forcing Zabuza to dodge. Then he followed up with compressed projectiles. Gold bomb! Explosive gold constructs detonated throughout the mist, clearing it instantly and revealing both opponents' positions. Naruto pressed his advantage relentlessly. Gold dust imperial funeral. Massive waves of gold dust converged from multiple directions, creating a crushing prison around Zabuza. The missing nin tried to escape, but the gold moved faster, compressing and solidifying until Zabuza couldn't move at all. Your turn, Naruto said to Haku, gold flowing around him like a golden storm. But before he could attack, something changed. Haku's mirror shattered voluntarily, and the boy appeared directly between Naruto and Zabuza, removing his mask to reveal a face younger than expected. Please, Haku said quietly, spare Zabuza. Kill me instead if you need to, but let him live. Naruto paused, gold dust swirling uncertainly. Why? Because he gave me purpose when I had none. He made me useful. He's the only person who ever valued my existence. The words hit harder than any jutsu could have. Naruto understood that loneliness, that desperate need to matter to someone. He'd felt it every day before his powers awakened, every night he'd spent alone in his apartment, wondering why the village hated him. Naruto, Kakashi said carefully, your choice. The gold dust settled around Naruto as he made his decision. I'm not going to kill either of you, but Zabuza leaves the land of waves and never comes back. And you, Haku, you're wasting your abilities serving someone else's ambition. Find your own purpose. Before Zabuza could respond, dozens of mercenaries appeared on the bridge. Gato himself stood among them, sneering. Zabuza, you failure. Since you couldn't kill the bridge builder, I'll do it myself, and I won't pay you a single ryo. You dare betray me? Zabuza's voice was ice. You're worthless. Now die with the rest of them. Naruto's expression hardened. These weren't confused missing nin with complicated motivations. These were simple thugs threatening innocence. Gold dust waterfall flow. A tsunami of gold dust swept across the bridge, engulfing half the mercenaries instantly. They screamed as the metal wrapped around them, binding them completely. Naruto formed spear after spear, launching them with devastating precision. Each projectile on a target, incapacitating mercenaries without killing them, but the message was clear. Gold divine punishment. The massive golden fist appeared again, larger than before, positioned directly above Gato's forces. Leave now, or I crush every single one of you. The mercenaries broke and ran. Gato tried to follow, but gold tendrils wrapped around his legs, dragging him back. You threatened my client, Naruto said coldly, walking toward the terrified merchant. You tried to enslave an entire nation. You ordered assassins to kill bridge builders. Give me one reason not to kill you right now. Please, I have money. I can pay you. I can create gold from nothing. Naruto gestured, and gold dust materialized in the air around them. Your money is worthless to me. Your life is worthless to me. The only reason you're still breathing is because I'm not a murderer. He released Gato, who scrambled away in terror. Zabuza watched this display with newfound respect. You're too soft, kid. That merchant will just hire more assassins. Then I'll deal with them too. Naruto turned to face Zabuza and Haku. But I meant what I said. Leave this place. Find something better to do with your abilities than petty assassination work. Perhaps I will. Zabuza retrieved his sword, studying Naruto with calculating eyes. You're going to be famous, kid. A leaf shinobi with gold dust manipulation? That's going to cause some serious political problems. Good, Naruto replied. I like problems. They're fun to solve. As Zabuza and Haku departed, Tazuna approached with tears in his eyes. You saved my life, my country. What can I possibly do to repay you? Finish the bridge, Naruto said simply. Connect your nation to the mainland. Give your people hope. That's payment enough. The bridge was completed 2 weeks later. Tazuna named it the Great Naruto Bridge, much to the young shinobi's embarrassment. But as Team 7 departed for Konoha, Naruto couldn't help feeling pride. His first real mission had been a complete success. He'd protected his team, completed the objective, and demonstrated that his gold powers were more than just flashy techniques. They were tools to protect people. You did well, Kakashi told him during the journey home. But you should know, every village with an intelligence network is going to hear about this mission. A 12-year-old genin dominating Zabuza Momochi, using magnet release gold dust at a level that surpasses the Fourth Kazekage? You're going to attract attention, Naruto. Not all of it friendly. Let them come, Naruto replied, gold dust flowing around him like protective satellites. I've been training for this my whole life. I'm ready. I hope so, Kakashi murmured. I really hope so. Their return to Konoha was marked by immediate debriefing with the Hokage. Hiruzen listened to Kakashi's report with increasing gravity, his aged face showing concern as the Jonin described Naruto's complete domination of a Jonin-level missing nin. He's operating at a level I can barely comprehend, Kakashi admitted. Lord Hokage, with all respect, Naruto might already be stronger than some of our Jonin. His gold manipulation, his sensory abilities, his tactical awareness, these aren't Genin-level skills. I'm aware. Hiruzen studied Naruto through the crystal ball, watching the boy train in his private grounds. The question is what we do with him now. Promoting him too quickly will attract even more attention, but keeping him on Genin teams wastes his potential. There's another issue, Kakashi continued. When word spreads about his abilities, Sunagakure will demand explanations. Gold dust manipulation has been exclusive to their Kazekage line for generations. They're going to see this as either theft of their bloodline or a challenge to their uniqueness. Then we'll deal with that when the time comes, Hiruzen decided. For now, continue his team assignments. But Kakashi, make sure he's ready for what's coming. The Chunin exams are in 2 months. The Chunin exams, a tournament where genin from multiple villages competed for promotion, demonstrated their skills before international audiences, and established reputations that would follow them for life. It was exactly the kind of stage where Naruto's abilities would be impossible to hide. I'll prepare them, Kakashi promised. Training intensified over the following weeks. Team 7 took on more challenging missions, each one designed to push their abilities and teamwork. But increasingly, Naruto found himself bored by the limitations of conventional missions. I need stronger opponents, he told Kakashi, after they completed a B-rank mission that he'd solved with a single technique. I'm not learning anything from these. Patience, Kakashi replied. The Chunin exams will provide all the challenge you need, but you can't neglect your team in the meantime. Sakura and Sasuke are your partners. You need to learn to fight with them, not just for them. It was valid criticism. Naruto had been dominating every encounter so thoroughly that his teammates rarely needed to participate. Sasuke's Sharingan and fire techniques, Sakura's growing medical knowledge and intelligence, these skills had value, but they were being overshadowed by Naruto's overwhelming gold manipulation. Fine, Naruto agreed reluctantly. I'll hold back. Let them handle more of the fights. Not hold back, Kakashi corrected. Coordinate. There's a difference. The next mission proved his point. They encountered a group of bandits harassing travelers on a major road. Instead of immediately flooding the area with gold, Naruto held back and let Sasuke take the lead. The Uchiha's fire techniques created openings that Sakura exploited with precise kunai throws, while Naruto used gold binding selectively to prevent escapes. The result was messier than Naruto's solo efforts would have been, but it was also more collaborative. Sakura and Sasuke gained confidence from contributing meaningfully, while Naruto learned to assess when overwhelming force was necessary versus when subtlety served better. Better, Kakashi approved afterward. You're learning. But the relative peace couldn't last. News of the Wave mission had indeed spread throughout the intelligence networks. Reports described a leaf genin with magnet release gold dust manipulation who defeated Zabuza Momochi without assistance. Some accounts exaggerated the details, claiming Naruto had turned the entire bridge into gold, that he'd created a golden giant, that he'd single-handedly revolutionized magnetic manipulation. Most of the rumors were false. But the core truth was alarming enough. Konoha Gakure had a genin wielding a power that shouldn't exist outside Sunagakure's bloodline limits. The political implications reached critical mass when the Chunin exam nominations were announced. Teams from every major village would participate. Konoha, Suna, Oto, Kusa, Ame, and several minor villages. The exams would take place in Konoha itself, turning the village into a stage for international competition. And every intelligence service would be watching for the golden-haired genin who'd caused such unprecedented rumors. Team 7, Kakashi announced, holding 3 application forms. I'm recommending you for the Chunin exams, but this isn't mandatory. The exams are dangerous. Genin die in these competitions. You can decline without shame. I'm in, Naruto said immediately, obviously. Same, Sasuke agreed, his competitive nature flaring. Sakura hesitated, then nodded up. I won't be left behind. Then it's decided. Kakashi handed them the forms. The first exam is in 3 days. Use that time wisely. The written portion of the Chunin exams took place in a classroom filled with genin from multiple villages. The atmosphere was tense, competitive, thick with the anxiety of young shinobi desperate to prove themselves. Naruto sat at his assigned desk, reading the exam questions with growing amusement. They were obviously designed to be too difficult to answer conventionally. The test was actually measuring information gathering skills, the ability to cheat without being caught. He could have used his gold dust for sensory cheating, spreading microscopic particles to read other students' papers. But that seemed unnecessarily elaborate. Instead, he simply created a thin layer of gold on his pencil and watched it respond to the magnetic fields created by other students writing their answers. The technique was subtle enough that the proctors didn't notice. The final question came with a twist. Ibiki Morino, the exam proctor, explained that the 10th question would determine pass or fail for the entire team. Refuse to answer and the whole team would be disqualified. But answer incorrectly and you'd be barred from the Chunin exams forever. It was a psychological trap designed to test resolve. I'm answering, Naruto said without hesitation when given the option to quit. I don't care if it gets me banned forever. I'm not running from a challenge. His confidence influenced others. Several teams who'd been considering quitting decided to stay. When Ibiki revealed that the 10th question was simply whether they'd stay or quit, testing their determination to face unknown dangers, Naruto smirked. Told you it was a trap, he muttered to Sasuke. They passed to the second exam. The Forest of Death was a massive training ground filled with dangerous wildlife, environmental hazards, and 44 teams of competing genin. The objective was simple: retrieve scrolls from other teams and reach the central tower within 5 days. This will be easy, Naruto said as they entered. I can sense other teams through my gold dust. We'll know where everyone is before they know where we are. Don't get cocky, Kakashi had warned them before the exam. Other villages have countermeasures, and you're going to face something unexpected in there. Be prepared. He was right. Team 7 encountered their scroll target within hours, a team from Rain that Naruto's sensory abilities detected easily. The fight was brief and one-sided. Gold binding restrained the opponents before they could form hand seals, and Team 7 claimed their scroll without serious resistance. But as they moved toward the tower, Naruto's gold dust detected something wrong. A massive chakra signature was approaching, far larger than any genin should possess, radiating killing intent that made the forest itself seem to recoil. Run! Naruto shouted to his team, recognizing Jonin-level danger. Something's coming. Orochimaru appeared from the trees like a nightmare given form. The legendary Sanin's yellow eyes fixed on Sasuke with hungry interest, ignoring Naruto and Sakura entirely. The Uchiha, Orochimaru hissed. Perfect. Gold armor! Naruto immediately coated himself in protective gold and moved between Orochimaru and Sasuke. Sakura, get Sasuke out of here! But now! Orochimaru's tongue extended impossibly, wrapping around Naruto's gold-coated arm. The Sanin's strength was monstrous. He ripped Naruto off his feet and slammed him into a tree hard enough to crack the trunk. Amusing, Orochimaru said, studying the gold that had prevented serious injury. Magnet-released gold dust. The rumors didn't exaggerate. But you're not my target today, child. He moved past Naruto with blinding speed, appearing beside Sasuke before Sakura could react. His neck extended like a snake's and he bit into Sasuke's neck, leaving a cursed seal that made the Uchiha scream in agony. Gold divine punishment. Naruto formed his massive golden fist overhead, bringing it crashing down toward Orochimaru's position. The Sannin dodged easily, laughing as he retreated into the forest. Impressive technique, but far too slow to hit me. Enjoy your exams, children. We'll meet again. Then he was gone. Sasuke collapsed, the cursed seal burning on his neck. Sakura tried to treat him, but the seal's chakra was beyond her abilities. Naruto stood guard, gold dust spread in a defensive perimeter, ready to attack anything that approached. "We need to get him to the tower," Naruto said grimly. "Can you carry him?" "I think so," Sakura replied, though she looked terrified. The next 3 days were brutal. Sasuke remained unconscious, the cursed seal periodically flaring with dark chakra. Sakura exhausted herself standing guard, and Naruto maintained constant surveillance through his gold dust, fighting off multiple teams that sensed their vulnerable position. A team from sound attacked directly. Naruto obliterated them with gold dust waterfall flow, creating waves of golden particles that crushed the attackers against trees. Another team tried stealth. Naruto's sensory abilities detected them instantly, and gold binding restrained them before they got within 50 meters. Rock Lee appeared, challenging them to honorable combat. Naruto respected the dedication but declined. "My teammate is injured. Come back when he's conscious, and I'll fight you properly." Lee accepted this, departing with a promise to meet again. Finally, on the 5th day, they reached the tower. Sasuke regained consciousness as they entered, the cursed seal settling into dormancy. He looked pale, shaken, but alive. "What happened?" Sasuke asked, touching the mark on his neck. "Orochimaru," Naruto replied darkly. "One of the legendary Sannin attacked you specifically. That mark is a cursed seal, some kind of chakra amplifier, I think. We need to report this immediately." But when they tried to inform the exam proctors, they were told to wait until after the preliminaries. The show had to go on. 21 teams passed the second exam, far too many for a traditional tournament bracket. The preliminary matches would reduce the number to the strongest competitors. Naruto stood in the arena alongside genin from multiple villages, studying his potential opponents. He recognized faces from the intelligence reports he'd read. Gaara of the desert, the Sand's Jinchuriki with his sand manipulation. Neji Hyuga, the Leaf's genius with the Byakugan. Rock Lee, the taijutsu specialist. Each represented a different challenge, but none of them would be sufficient to truly test him. The first match was Sasuke versus a sound genin. Despite his cursed seal and recent injury, Sasuke dominated with his Sharingan and fire techniques. Naruto watched with approval. His teammate was genuinely skilled. Even if he couldn't match Gold Manipulation's versatility, other matches followed. Lee demonstrated taijutsu so fast it created afterimages. Neji showed the Hyuga's legendary gentle fist style. Gaara crushed his opponent with automatic sand defenses that reminded Naruto distinctly of his own gold armor. Then his name appeared on the board. Naruto Uzumaki versus Kiba Inuzuka. Kiba stood across from him with his ninja dog Akamaru, grinning confidently. "I've been wanting to fight you, Naruto. Let's see if your gold is as strong as everyone says." "You're about to find out," Naruto replied. The proctor signaled the start. Kiba immediately activated his clan's feral techniques, his nails and teeth elongating as his chakra flared. Fang over fang. He and Akamaru began spinning at high speed, creating twin drilling attacks that tore toward Naruto from different angles. Gold armor. Naruto's body coated in protective gold. The drilling attack struck him and bounced off harmlessly, unable to penetrate the metal. Too slow. Gold binding. Tendrils erupted from the arena floor, wrapping around both Kiba and Akamaru mid-spin. The technique stopped them completely, holding them suspended in the air. "Let me go." Kiba struggled against the restraints, but the gold only constricted tighter. "You're outmatched," Naruto said without arrogance, just stating fact. "Your speed means nothing when I can sense every movement through my gold. Your attacks can't penetrate my armor, and my binding can restrain you before you complete any technique. Surrender." "Never!" Kiba channeled more chakra, trying to break free through raw strength. Gold dust drizzle. Naruto raised his hand, and golden particles began raining from above, each one striking with enough force to hurt without causing permanent damage. It was precise, controlled, demonstrating mastery that made even the Jonin spectators murmur in surprise. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. The proctor announced as Kiba finally collapsed from accumulated damage. Naruto released the binding and helped Kiba stand. You fought well, but you need to develop techniques that don't rely purely on direct assault. The next match featured Gaara versus Rock Lee. Naruto watched with intense interest as Lee pushed himself beyond normal human limits, removing training weights that had been restricting his speed. The taijutsu specialist moved so fast that even Naruto's gold dust had difficulty tracking him. He opened the 8 gates, unleashing power that shattered Gaara's sand defenses. But in the end, Gaara's sand proved too versatile. The automatic defense adapted to Lee's speed, and the sand coffin technique crushed Lee's arm and leg, ending the match brutally. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Gaara's sand manipulation was remarkably similar to his own gold techniques: automatic defense, versatile offense, sensory abilities. But where Gaara's sand moved with raw killing intent, Naruto's gold flowed with precision and control. They'd definitely fight eventually. The question was whether Gaara could match gold's superiority over sand. The preliminaries continued. Shikamaru defeated Ken with brilliant strategy. Tamari overwhelmed Tenten with wind techniques. Shino defeated Zaku through careful planning and insect manipulation. Then came the match that made the entire arena go silent. Neji Hyuga versus Hinata Hyuga. Naruto watched as Neji systematically destroyed his cousin, preaching about fate and destiny while striking her tenketsu points. The Hyuga genius was ruthless, determined to prove that talent determined everything, that those born weak stayed weak forever. When Neji struck Hinata's heart point, potentially killing her, Naruto's gold dust reacted instinctively. A golden tendril shot across the arena, wrapping around Neji's arm and stopping the killing blow inches from landing. "Match over," Naruto said coldly, his eyes glowing faintly gold. "You've proven your point, Neji. Don't make me prove mine." The threat was clear. Neji could see the gold dust flowing around Naruto like a living thing, feel the power radiating from the young genin. He stepped back, releasing Hinata. "She was weak," Neji said. "Destiny cannot be changed." "Destiny is what you make it," Naruto replied, recalling the gold dust. "And you're going to learn that lesson when we fight." The preliminary matches concluded with the bracket for the finals announced. Naruto would face Neji in the first round, exactly what he'd wanted. But as the genin dispersed, something unprecedented happened. The Sand Team, Gaara, Tamari, and Kankuro, approached Naruto directly. All three stared at him with expressions mixing shock, disbelief, and something approaching reverence. "Your gold manipulation," Tamari said slowly. "Those techniques, gold dust waterfall flow, gold dust drizzle, gold binding, those are our father's signature moves." "Rasa, the Fourth Kazekage," Kankuro added. "He was the only person alive who could manipulate gold dust like that. How do you know his techniques?" Gaara said nothing, but his sand swirled around him protectively, reacting to the presence of another user of magnetic manipulation. Naruto met their gazes calmly. "I read about them in intelligence reports. Your father's techniques were documented during various battles. I adapted them for my own use." "That's impossible," Tamari insisted. "Gold dust manipulation is a bloodline ability exclusive to Sunagakure. It requires both earth and wind nature combined with specific genetic markers. You shouldn't be able to." "But I can." Naruto gestured, and gold dust materialized in the air between them, forming intricate patterns. "I have wind and earth natures. I awakened magnet release naturally when I was 6, and I've spent years mastering it." "You're better than our father was," Kankuro said quietly, and there was no jealousy in his voice, just awe. "The scale of your techniques, the control, the versatility. Father could never create constructs like that golden fist you used in the forest. He couldn't sense through his gold the way you obviously can." "Your father was limited by his understanding of the ability," Naruto replied. "I'm not. I push the gold beyond conventional limits because I don't accept that those limits are real." Gaara finally spoke, his voice carrying that unsettling emptiness that came from years of isolation and the influence of Shukaku. "We will fight, your gold against my sand. Only one can be superior." "Looking forward to it," Naruto said honestly. "Sand is just compressed minerals and earth. Gold is a noble metal with unique properties. Should be an interesting comparison." The Sand siblings departed, clearly disturbed by this development. A leaf shinobi wielding their father's signature techniques at a superior level. It challenged everything they understood about bloodline abilities and village uniqueness. Kakashi appeared at Naruto's side once they were gone. You just became Tsunagakurei's most interesting intelligence target. They're going to investigate your bloodline extensively now. Let them investigate, Naruto replied, watching gold dust flow around his fingers. They won't find anything unusual. I'm just a Konoha orphan who happened to develop magnet release. Weird? Yes. Impossible? Apparently not. The political implications are significant, Kakashi continued. But that's the Hokage's problem. Your problem is training for the finals. You've got 1 month before the tournament. Use it wisely. The month of preparation passed quickly. Naruto trained relentlessly, pushing his gold manipulation to new heights. He developed combination techniques that merged multiple abilities into devastating attacks. He refined his sensory range until he could detect movements across entire city blocks. He experimented with awakening his surroundings, transforming sections of forest into golden landscapes under his complete control. But he also took Kakashi's advice and worked on teamwork. He sparred with Sasuke, learning to coordinate fire and gold techniques for combination attacks. He practiced with Sakura, discovering that her analytical mind could spot weaknesses in his defenses that raw power overlooked. You rely too much on overwhelming force, Sakura observed during one session. What happens when you face someone who can neutralize your gold? Someone with abilities specifically designed to counter magnetic manipulation? Then I adapt, Naruto replied. I learn taijutsu, develop non-gold techniques, find alternative approaches. Power is meaningless if you can't think creatively. Sasuke watched these exchanges with growing frustration. His cursed seal gave him power, but it came with a terrible price. The dark chakra corrupted his thoughts, filled him with obsessive desires for strength. And no matter how hard he trained, Naruto's abilities remained overwhelmingly superior. Why you? Sasuke asked one evening, his Sharingan activated, staring at Naruto with barely controlled jealousy. Why did you get that power? What makes you special? Nothing makes me special, Naruto replied honestly. I was born with wind and earth natures. They combine into magnet release. It's just genetics and luck. Luck, Sasuke repeated bitterly. You call dominating Jonin-level opponents luck? No, I call years of training every single day without fail hard work. The power was luck. What I did with it was choice. The conversation ended there, but the tension remained. Sasuke's cursed seal fed on his negative emotions, amplifying his desire to surpass Naruto into an obsession that would eventually have consequences. The finals arrived with international fanfare. The arena was packed with spectators from multiple nations, daimyo, nobles, merchants, shinobi from allied villages. Everyone wanted to witness the new generation of ninja talent, and everyone had heard rumors about the Leaf's golden genin. Naruto stood in the competitor's box, watching the early matches with interest. Neji dominated his opponent with precise, gentle fist strikes. Gaara crushed his challenger with overwhelming sand techniques. Sasuke used his cursed seal to defeat a powerful opponent, though the dark chakra clearly took a toll. Then came Naruto's match. Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga. Combatants enter the arena. Naruto descended the stairs with gold dust flowing around him like a royal cloak. Neji stood across from him, his Byakugan activated, seeing the chakra flowing through Naruto's body and the gold particles coating every surface nearby. Your abilities are impressive, Neji said calmly, but destiny has already determined this match's outcome. I am a genius of the Hyuga clan. You are an orphan with unusual powers. Talent will triumph over luck. Destiny is a lie people tell themselves when they're afraid to try, Naruto replied. You think you're fated to win? Prove it. The proctor signaled the start. Neji moved immediately, his gentle fist style targeting Naruto's tenketsu points with surgical precision. His Byakugan could see every chakra point, every weakness, every opening, but his strikes never landed. Gold armor. Naruto's body coated in protective gold before Neji could make contact. The Hyuga's fingers struck the metal and accomplished nothing. Gentle fist required direct contact with the chakra network, and the gold barrier prevented that completely. Impossible, Neji leaped back, reassessing. Your armor is too thick to penetrate with gentle fist, but it must have weaknesses. Find them, Naruto challenged. Neji activated his rotation technique, 8 trigrams palms revolving heaven, spinning rapidly to create a chakra shield. It was a defensive technique designed to repel attacks from all directions. Gold dust waterfall flow. Naruto sent a massive wave of gold dust crashing into Neji's rotation. The sheer volume overwhelmed the defense, forcing Neji to maintain the technique or be buried under tons of golden particles. But rotations required chakra. Neji couldn't maintain it indefinitely. The moment his rotation faltered, Naruto struck. Gold binding! Tendrils of gold erupted from the waves of dust, wrapping around Neji's arms and legs before he could react. The Hyuga struggled, channeling chakra to break free, but the gold only constricted tighter. You preached about destiny, Naruto said, walking through his own gold dust like it wasn't there. You claim talent determines everything. But here's the truth, Neji. I trained every day for 6 years to master this power. I studied, I practiced, I pushed past every limit. That's not destiny, that's choice. Gold dust drizzle. Golden particles began raining from above, each one striking Neji with controlled force. The Hyuga couldn't dodge, couldn't defend, couldn't activate his rotation while bound. Surrender, Naruto said, or I keep going until you can't fight anymore. Neji's pride warred with his intelligence. He could see that Naruto hadn't even used his full arsenal. No massive golden constructs, no explosive techniques, no awakened transformations. This was a demonstration of superiority so complete it bordered on humiliation. I surrender, Neji said quietly. Naruto released the bindings immediately, offering a hand to help Neji stand. You're strong, Neji. Your technique is incredible, your control is precise, your tactical awareness is excellent. But you limit yourself by believing in destiny. Break those chains and you'll become even stronger. The words resonated. Neji had spent his entire life believing his fate was sealed by his birth into the branch family. But here was Naruto, an orphan, a social outcast, someone with every reason to fail, demonstrating power that surpassed even main family Hyuga through sheer determination and training. Maybe destiny wasn't absolute after all. The crowd erupted in applause as Naruto helped Neji from the arena. The match had been one-sided, but it showcased exactly why the Golden Genin had become so famous: overwhelming power combined with tactical precision and, surprisingly, mercy. In the Kage box, Hiruzen smiled with genuine pride. That boy is going to change this village. Beside him, the Kazekage, actually Orochimaru in disguise, though Hiruzen didn't know this yet, watched with calculating interest. Indeed, such power in one so young, it makes one wonder what other secrets Konoha might be hiding. The tournament continued with increasing intensity. Shikamaru defeated Temari through brilliant strategy before forfeiting because continuing seemed like too much trouble. Sasuke fought Gaara in a match that was interrupted when the invasion began. Sound and sand forces attacked Konoha simultaneously, their goal to destroy the village while its forces were concentrated at the tournament. Orochimaru revealed himself, trapping Hiruzen in a barrier and summoning the first and second Hokage as reanimated corpses. But Naruto wasn't in the arena when the invasion started. His gold dust sensory network had detected the enemy forces gathering at the village's perimeter minutes before the attack began. He'd alerted the Jonin immediately, giving Konoha crucial advance warning that saved hundreds of lives. When the invasion forces breached the walls, they encountered something unexpected: a golden wall that stretched across entire city blocks, creating barriers that channeled enemy movements into kill zones where Konoha defenders waited. Gold Dust Protective Wall. Naruto stood atop the Hokage monument, arms spread wide, controlling gold on a scale that defied comprehension. He was pulling metal from deposits across the entire village, creating defenses that would have required dozens of Earth-style users working in coordination. Sound Ninja attempted to break through his barriers. They failed. Sand manipulators tried to counter his gold with their own techniques. They were overwhelmed. Even the summoned creatures, massive snakes from Orochimaru's contract, found themselves trapped by liquid gold that solidified around their bodies. This is impossible. A sound Jonin stared at the golden fortress that had appeared seemingly overnight. One Genin can't defend an entire village section. But Naruto was doing exactly that. He'd spent years developing his abilities specifically for moments like this. His sensory range covered miles. His gold reserves were effectively unlimited as long as he could access underground deposits, and his techniques could be deployed simultaneously across vast areas because he wasn't manually controlling each particle. His will directed the gold like conducting an orchestra. Gold divine punishment. Massive golden fists appeared above concentrated enemy positions, crashing down with earth-shaking force. Each impact created craters, scattered enemy formations, and demonstrated power that made even veteran shinobi pause in fear. In the Hokage's barrier, Hiruzen fought desperately against the reanimated legends and Orochimaru. The third Hokage was old, his chakra reserves diminished, his body unable to match his prime years. But his determination remained absolute. He would protect his village with his final breath if necessary. Impressive, Sensei, Orochimaru mocked, but you cannot defeat immortal opponents while also protecting your village from my invasion. You're going to die here, and Konoha will fall. Not today, a new voice called. Naruto appeared atop the barrier in a swirl of gold dust, his eyes blazing with determination. Old man, can this barrier be broken from outside? Naruto, get away from here, Hiruzen commanded. Answer the question. The four sound ninja maintaining it must be eliminated simultaneously, Hiruzen replied quickly. But, good enough. Naruto spread his sensory abilities, detecting the four barrier users positioned at the corners. Gold spear. Four massive spears of solid gold materialized simultaneously, each one targeting a barrier ninja with perfect precision. The attacks launched at identical moments, moving faster than the sound ninja could react. 3 spears struck true, the fourth was deflected by a last-second earth wall. Almost, Naruto muttered, reforming the attack. Gold dust drizzle! He rained gold dust on the remaining barrier user's position, overwhelming their defenses through sheer volume. When they finally fell, the barrier collapsed. Hiruzen immediately summoned Enma, his Monkey King companion, while Kakashi and other Jonin rushed to assist. The battle against Orochimaru intensified, but now the third Hokage had support. Naruto turned his attention back to the village invasion. His gold dust sensory network showed enemy positions throughout Konoha, hundreds of sound and sand forces engaged in combat with leaf defenders. But they were concentrated, predictable, following standard invasion tactics. Time to end this, Naruto said quietly. He planted both hands on the monument and channeled chakra on a scale he'd never attempted before. Gold began erupting from the earth throughout the village, not in concentrated waves, but as a massive network that spread beneath enemy positions like roots. Gold dust imperial funeral. Across Konoha, hundreds of enemy ninjas suddenly found themselves trapped as gold erupted from beneath their feet, wrapping around legs, arms, bodies. The technique was executed simultaneously across the entire village, restraining enemy forces before they could retreat or regroup. It was the single largest use of gold dust manipulation in recorded history. The chakra cost was enormous. Naruto felt his reserves draining rapidly, but the results were undeniable. The invasion ground to a halt as enemy forces found themselves completely immobilized. Impossible, Orochimaru whispered, watching from his battle with Hiruzen. One child just captured an entire invasion force, the power required for that technique. That's my student, Hiruzen said with fierce pride. The future of Konohagakure, and you're going to learn why threatening this village was your greatest mistake. The third Hokage fought with renewed determination, his techniques driving Orochimaru back. When the Sannin attempted to use the reanimated Hokage as shields, Naruto intervened again, gold binding restraining the corpses long enough for Hiruzen to seal them properly. Retreat! Orochimaru finally commanded his forces. The invasion has failed. Sound ninjas scattered, those who could escape Naruto's binding fleeing into the forest. Sand forces, realizing their Kazekage was actually Orochimaru and their alliance had been a lie, withdrew in confusion and shame. The battle ended as suddenly as it had begun. Naruto stood atop the monument, gold dust flowing around him like a protective aurora, surveying the village he'd helped save. Buildings were damaged, fires burned in several districts, and casualties had occurred, but Konoha had survived. The invasion had been repelled. Below, villagers stared up at the golden figure silhouetted against the sky. The same villagers who'd once called him demon now whispered different words. Hero, savior, the golden shield of Konoha. Naruto, Hiruzen called from below, his voice carrying genuine emotion. "Get down here before you collapse from chakra exhaustion." The old man was right. Naruto had pushed himself far beyond normal limits. His vision blurred as he descended, and only Kakashi's quick reflexes prevented him from falling when his legs gave out. "Rest," Kakashi ordered, carrying Naruto toward the hospital. "You've done more than enough." "Is everyone okay?" Naruto asked weakly. "Because of you, casualties were minimal. Your advance warning and defensive barriers saved hundreds of lives. You're a hero, Naruto." "Just did what needed doing," Naruto murmured before unconsciousness claimed him. The aftermath of the invasion reshaped Konoha's political landscape entirely. Hiruzen Sarutobi remained Hokage, his victory over Orochimaru's assault cementing his continued leadership. But he was aging, and the village needed to plan for succession. The question of who would become fifth Hokage became urgent. Naruto recovered in the hospital, his chakra reserves slowly replenishing. Visitors came constantly, Team 7 members checking on him, Jonin expressing gratitude, even villagers who'd once feared him bringing flowers and thanks. But the most significant visitor was Gaara. The Sand Jinchuriki entered Naruto's hospital room quietly, his sand swirling defensively around him. His siblings waited outside, clearly nervous about this meeting. "You saved my village too," Gaara said without preamble. "When you stopped the invasion, you prevented Sand from being completely destroyed by association with Orochimaru's scheme. My father is dead, killed by the traitor wearing his face. But Sand's reputation might survive because a Leaf Genin showed mercy." "I didn't do it for political reasons," Naruto replied honestly. "I did it because people were in danger." "I know." Gaara sat in the visitor's chair, studying Naruto intently. "We're similar, you and I. Both Jinchuriki, both wielders of unique abilities. Both isolated by our villages for circumstances beyond our control. But you chose a different path than I did." "What path is that?" "Protection instead of destruction. I used my sand to kill anyone who threatened me, to prove my existence through their deaths. You used your gold to save people, to prove your worth through their lives. I want to understand why." Naruto was quiet for a moment, considering his answer carefully. "I was alone for a long time, hated, feared, rejected by almost everyone. And I could have let that turn me into what they feared, a monster who destroyed because he'd never known kindness. But then my power awakened, and the Hokage saw past the demon container to the kid who just wanted acknowledgement. He gave me a chance to prove I was more than what people feared. I chose to take that chance. And if he hadn't given you that opportunity, then maybe I'd be like you were," Naruto admitted. "Alone, angry, using my power to make people fear me because at least fear is acknowledgement. But Gaara, you can choose differently now. You're strong enough to protect instead of destroy. Your sand can be a shield instead of a weapon. You can be what your village needs instead of what they fear." "They already fear me," Gaara said quietly. "I'm the weapon that killed my father, the monster that Orochimaru manipulated. Then prove them wrong." Naruto met Gaara's eyes directly. "Become Kazekage, lead your village, show them that the Jinchuriki they feared is actually their greatest protector. That's what I'm going to do here. Become Hokage and prove that the demon container is actually the village's strongest defender." The words resonated with something deep in Gaara's psyche. His sand, which had been swirling defensively, settled into calm patterns around him. "Kazekage," he repeated thoughtfully. "You think I could? I think you're the only one who can," Naruto replied. "Your power is overwhelming. Your determination is absolute. The only question is whether you choose to use that strength for protection or destruction. Choose protection, and your village will follow you anywhere." Gaara stood, his expression thoughtful. "We'll meet again, Naruto Uzumaki. When we do, I want to fight you properly. Your gold against my sand, with no holding back. I want to see which element is truly superior." "Looking forward to it," Naruto said with a genuine smile. "Just make sure you're Kazekage by then. I only fight leaders." "Then become Hokage before our next meeting," Gaara challenged. "Prove your words with action." The Sand siblings departed shortly after. Their mission to Konoha officially ended. But Gaara carried Naruto's words with him, and they would shape his future path more than anyone could predict. 3 weeks after the invasion, Naruto was released from the hospital with strict orders to avoid heavy training for another week. He ignored these orders immediately, returning to his private training ground to test new techniques he'd conceptualized during recovery. But the village had changed around him. Everywhere Naruto walked, people greeted him respectfully. Shop owners offered discounts without being asked. Children asked for autographs. The transformation was surreal, from pariah to hero, seemingly overnight. "Don't let it go to your head," Kakashi warned during a team meeting. "Fame is fickle. Today you're celebrated. Tomorrow you could make a mistake, and they'll turn on you again. Stay grounded." "I'm not doing this for fame anyway," Naruto replied. "I just want to be strong enough that no one can hurt the people I care about." Team 7 had grown closer through the invasion. Sakura had fought courageously to protect civilians, discovering a talent for medical ninjutsu that Tsunade would later cultivate. Sasuke had pushed past his cursed seal's influence to defend his home, proving that Uchiha pride meant protecting the village, not just pursuing personal power. But the cursed seal remained a problem. "Orochimaru marked you for a reason," Kakashi told Sasuke seriously. "He wants to use you, to corrupt you with promises of power. You need to resist that temptation." "I can handle it," Sasuke insisted, though his hand unconsciously touched the seal on his neck. Naruto wasn't convinced. He'd seen how the cursed seal affected Sasuke during their training. The dark chakra was seductive, offering strength without effort. And Sasuke's obsession with surpassing Itachi, with avenging his clan, made him vulnerable to that seduction. "If you ever need help," Naruto offered, "I'm here. We're teammates. Your problems are my problems." Sasuke's expression was complex, gratitude mixed with frustration. "You don't understand. Your power came naturally. Mine requires sacrifice." "Then don't sacrifice your humanity for strength," Naruto replied. "That's not a trade worth making." The conversation ended there, but the warning lingered. Months passed with Team 7 taking increasingly difficult missions. They hunted missing nin, protected important clients, investigated threats to village security. Each mission showcased their growing abilities. Naruto's gold manipulation becoming more refined, Sasuke's Sharingan evolving, Sakura's medical skills advancing rapidly. But tension remained beneath the surface. Sasuke's desire for power grew obsessively. The cursed seal whispered promises of strength sufficient to defeat Itachi, to restore Uchiha pride, to become the genius everyone had once believed he was. And then Itachi Uchiha returned to Konoha. The legendary S-rank missing nin appeared in the village openly, accompanied by Kasame Hoshigaki, seeking something called the Nine Tails. Their target was obvious, Naruto himself. Kakashi confronted them immediately, but even with his Sharingan, he was outmatched. Itachi's Tsukuyomi trapped him in an illusion so powerful it left the Jonin comatose. Might Guy arrived to assist, his taijutsu forcing the Akatsuki members to retreat temporarily, but their presence sent Sasuke into a rage. "Itachi!" Sasuke activated his cursed seal fully, dark chakra erupting around him. "I'll kill you!" The fight was pathetically one-sided. Itachi defeated Sasuke without even appearing to try, his Sharingan overwhelming his younger brother's attempts at revenge. The psychological damage was worse than the physical. Sasuke's entire self-image, his belief in his progress, his confidence in his strength, all of it shattered against Itachi's casual superiority. Naruto arrived as Itachi was leaving, gold dust already flowing in defensive patterns. The legendary Uchiha studied him with those famous eyes, seeing something that made even his expression shift minutely. "Interesting," Itachi said. "Magnet release gold dust. I hadn't expected Konoha to develop a counter to Akatsuki's capabilities." "If you're after the Nine Tails," Naruto said calmly, gold dust forming barriers around his body, "you'll have to go through me first, and I promise that won't be as easy as you think." "Perhaps not." Itachi's Sharingan activated, the tomoe spinning in patterns designed to trap victims in genjutsu. "But you're not ready to face Akatsuki yet, child. Train harder. Become stronger when we meet and show me if your gold can match our goals." He vanished in a swirl of crows, leaving Naruto standing protectively over Sasuke's unconscious form. The encounter changed everything. Sasuke recovered physically, but psychologically he was broken. Itachi had proven that all his training, all his development, all his cursed seal power meant nothing against true genius. The gap was insurmountable. "I need more power." Sasuke said during their next team meeting, his voice hollow. Everything I've done isn't enough. I need to go to Orochimaru. No, Naruto said immediately. That's exactly what he wants. He'll corrupt you, use you, turn you into a weapon for his ambitions. Then what else am I supposed to do? Sasuke's Sharingan activated unconsciously. Train with the team? That won't give me the strength to defeat Itachi. Your gold powers make you special, Naruto, but I'm not special anymore. I'm just an Uchiha failure who can't even make my brother acknowledge me. You're not a failure, Sakura insisted. You're our teammate, our friend. I don't need friends. Sasuke's cursed seal flared, dark chakra crackling around him. I need power, and if Konoha can't give me that power, I'll find it elsewhere. The confrontation ended with Sasuke leaving, but the threat remained clear. The cursed seal had finally won. Sasuke was going to defect to Orochimaru. The retrieval mission was authorized immediately. Team 7 plus additional support would pursue Sasuke and bring him back before he reached Orochimaru's territory. But they faced an obstacle, the Sound Four, elite bodyguards specifically sent to escort Sasuke. I'll handle this, Naruto told his team as they caught up to the Sound Ninja. You all focus on reaching Sasuke before he makes a mistake he can't undo. You can't fight 4 opponents alone, Shikamaru warned. These aren't normal Chunin, they're specialists with cursed seals of their own. I've fought worse. Naruto's eyes glowed faintly gold as his power surged. Gold dust waterfall flow. He flooded the entire forest section with gold, creating a domain where his abilities reigned supreme. The Sound Four tried to scatter, but gold binding trapped them before they could complete their movements. Impossible. Tayuya struggled against the golden tendrils. We're all cursed seal users. We should be stronger than some genin. Cursed seal power is borrowed strength, Naruto replied, forming multiple golden constructs simultaneously. Mine is earned. Big difference. He systematically defeated each Sound Four member. Jirobo crushed under gold divine punishment, Kidomaru's webs dissolved by superheated gold, Sakan and Ukon separated and restrained by precision binding. Tayuya's summons buried under gold dust imperial funeral. The battles weren't even close. Naruto's power had grown so overwhelming that opponents relying on cursed seals seemed like children playing at strength. When the last Sound Ninja fell, Naruto continued forward, tracking Sasuke through the gold dust network he'd spread throughout the forest. He found his teammate at the Valley of the End, standing before the statues of Hashirama and Madara. Sasuke, Naruto called. Stop! I can't. Sasuke's cursed seal had spread across half his body, his chakra dark and corrupted. You don't understand, Naruto. You've always been strong. Your gold powers make you special, make you valuable, but I have nothing except my revenge. Orochimaru can give me the strength to kill Itachi. Konoha can't. Konoha can give you something better than strength, Naruto argued, approaching carefully. Family, purpose, a reason to live beyond revenge. Itachi wanted you to become strong, but not like this. Not by selling your soul to a monster. What do you know about what Itachi wanted? Sasuke's Sharingan evolved, Tomoe connecting into new patterns. You're an orphan. You don't have a clan legacy to uphold, a brother's crimes to answer for. You got lucky with your bloodline ability and think that makes you better than me. I never said I was better than you, Naruto replied quietly. But I'm saying this path will destroy you. Orochimaru doesn't care about your revenge. He wants your body, your Sharingan, your potential. You'll become his puppet, not the avenger you think you'll be. Then I'll kill him too after I kill Itachi. Sasuke charged, his Chidori crackling with dark chakra. But first I need to prove I'm stronger than you, that your gold isn't invincible. Gold armor. Naruto's body coated in protective gold as he stood his ground. I'm not fighting you, Sasuke. You're my teammate, my friend. I'm not going to hurt you just because you're confused. Sasuke's Chidori struck the gold armor and failed to penetrate. The impact sent shockwaves through the valley, but Naruto didn't move. His defense held perfectly, demonstrating the gap between them. See? Sasuke screamed, tears mixing with rain that had begun to fall. Even now, you're stronger. Always stronger. I can't catch up to you, can't surpass you, can't even make you fight seriously. What's the point of staying in Konoha if I'll always be in your shadow? The point is that shadows exist because of light, Naruto said, reaching out despite the cursed seal chakra crackling dangerously. "You're not in my shadow, Sasuke. You're standing beside me. And if you'd stop measuring yourself against everyone else, you'd realize how strong you actually are." For a moment, Sasuke hesitated. The cursed seal's influence wavered as his teammates' words resonated with something deep inside. He could stay. He could trust Konoha. He could believe that strength came from bonds rather than isolation. But then Itachi's face flashed through his mind. The cold eyes, the casual superiority, the overwhelming defeat, and the cursed seal won. "I'm sorry, Naruto," Sasuke said, backing away, "but I can't. Revenge is all I have. It's all I am, and I'll sacrifice anything to achieve it." He turned and ran, leaving Naruto standing alone in the rain. Naruto could have pursued. His gold dust could track Sasuke anywhere. His binding techniques could restrain his teammate, force him back to Konoha. But he understood something fundamental. You couldn't save people who didn't want to be saved. Sasuke had chosen his path, and forcing him onto another would only breed resentment. "I'll wait," Naruto promised the rain and the statues and his departed teammate. "When you realize Orochimaru's path leads nowhere, when you're ready to come home, I'll be here, and I'll be strong enough to pull you back from whatever darkness you fall into." The retrieval mission's failure devastated Team 7. Sakura blamed herself for not being strong enough to stop Sasuke. Kakashi felt he'd failed as a teacher, and Naruto withdrew into training, pushing his abilities further than ever before. But the village's perception of him continued to shift positively. His defense during the invasion, his defeat of the Sound Four, his attempt to save Sasuke, these actions painted him as Konoha's future. When discussions of the fifth Hokage position began seriously, Naruto's name was mentioned alongside legendary figures like Tsunade and Jiraiya. "You're too young," Hiruzen told him gently when Naruto asked about it. "Give it time, master your abilities completely, learn politics, strategy, leadership. In a few years, you'll be ready." "How many years?" Naruto asked. "As many as it takes," the Hokage replied. "But Naruto, you've already proven you have the strength. Now you need to prove you have the wisdom. Strength wins battles, wisdom wins wars." Naruto took the advice to heart. He began studying politics, attending council meetings, learning the administrative side of leadership. He trained in areas beyond gold manipulation, taijutsu with Gai, genjutsu detection with Kurenai, strategic thinking with Shikaku Nara. His power continued to grow. He developed new techniques constantly: gold rainstorm for wide area bombardment, gold cocoon for absolute defense, gold awakening to transform entire battlefields into golden landscapes under his control. But more importantly, he developed restraint. The ability to use overwhelming force was valuable, but knowing when not to use it was equally crucial. Naruto learned to assess situations, to apply appropriate levels of power, to solve problems without always resorting to his strongest techniques. The months following Sasuke's defection became a period of intensive growth, not just in power, but in character. Naruto matured from a talented genin into a shinobi worthy of consideration for future leadership. When Jiraiya offered to train him personally, to teach him the techniques that had made the Sannin legendary, Naruto accepted immediately. The training was brutal. Jiraiya pushed him harder than anyone before, forcing him to combine gold manipulation with sage techniques, summoning contracts, and sealing methods. "You're going to be the strongest Hokage in history," Jiraiya predicted one evening, watching Naruto create golden constructs while maintaining perfect sage mode balance. "Stronger than my sensei. Stronger than Hashirama. Your gold manipulation combined with everything else you're learning. The world isn't ready for what you're going to become." "I'm not doing this to be the strongest," Naruto replied, though he couldn't help smiling at the compliment. "I'm doing this so I can protect everyone. So no one else loses teammates to darkness, so Konoha never faces threats it can't handle. Noble goals," Jiraiya acknowledged, "but power without purpose becomes tyranny. Make sure you remember why you're seeking strength." "Always," Naruto promised. The years of training transformed Naruto into something beyond what even Jiraiya had anticipated. Under the Sannin's guidance, he'd ventured across the elemental nations, seeking knowledge, pushing limits, refining his gold manipulation into an art form that transcended conventional shinobi techniques. "You're ready," Jiraiya announced one morning as they stood atop a mountain overlooking a valley. Naruto had transformed entirely into gold during a training exercise. The entire landscape gleamed under the sun. Trees, rocks, streams, all converted into precious metal through his awakened form. The world isn't ready for you, but you're ready for it. Naruto studied his hands, watching gold dust flow between his fingers like living water. At 15, he'd surpassed the Fourth Kazekage's legendary abilities entirely. His sensory range now spanned dozens of miles when he spread his gold dust network. His constructs could reach sizes that dwarfed buildings, and his chakra reserves, enhanced by Uzumaki heritage and years of intensive training, seemed practically limitless. "Konoha needs me," Naruto said, thinking of home. "It's been 3 years. Time to go back." "One more thing before we leave." Jiraiya pulled out a scroll marked with complex sealing formulas. "Your gold manipulation is perfect. Your tactical mind is sharp. Your power dwarfs most jonin, but you need to understand what you're walking into. Akatsuki has been gathering strength. They're hunting Jinchuriki systematically. You're their ultimate target. The Nine Tails and the gold manipulation user who defeated multiple S-rank missing nin during your training. They'll come for you with everything they have." "Good." Naruto's eyes gleamed gold as his power flared unconsciously. "I've been looking forward to meeting them properly. Let's see if their legendary status can match my gold." The journey back to Konoha took 2 weeks, during which Naruto encountered and obliterated 3 separate Akatsuki scout teams sent to track him. Each encounter ended the same way: gold dust waterfall flow overwhelming opponents before they could mount effective resistance, followed by gold binding restraining survivors for interrogation. "They're getting desperate," Naruto observed after third team fell. "These scouts are pushing harder, taking more risks. Akatsuki knows I'm returning home, and they're scared." "As they should be," Jiraiya replied, studying the restrained missing nin with his Sharingan copy technique couldn't penetrate Naruto's gold defenses. "You've become something unprecedented, a Jinchuriki with abilities that counter most of Akatsuki's known techniques. You're their worst nightmare." When the gates of Konohagakure finally appeared on the horizon, Naruto felt genuine emotion surge through him. Home. 3 years away, countless battles fought, immeasurable power gained. But this village remained his heart's center. The guards at the gate didn't recognize him initially. The 12-year-old Genin had left as a talented youth with impressive abilities. The 15-year-old who returned was a legend wrapped in casual confidence, his presence radiating power that made veteran Chunin instinctively step back. "Naruto Uzumaki," he announced, presenting his identification. "Returning from training with Jiraiya-sama." Recognition dawned instantly. "The Golden Emperor, you're back!" The title had spread during his training journey. Stories of the young shinobi who could transform entire battlefields into gold, who defeated dozens of S-rank missing nin, who wielded power rivaling the legendary Kage. News of his return spread through Konoha like wildfire. Within hours, the village buzzed with excitement and speculation. The hero who'd saved them during the invasion had returned stronger than ever. Tsunade, the 5th Hokage who'd taken leadership during Naruto's absence, summoned him immediately to her office. She studied him with calculating eyes that saw past the confident exterior to the refined warrior beneath. 3 years, Tsunade said slowly. "Jiraiya's reports described your progress, but seeing you in person is different. You've changed." "I got stronger," Naruto replied simply. "That was the point." "Show me." Tsunade gestured to the training ground visible through her window. "I want to see what you've learned." They stood in the Hokage's private training area minutes later, facing each other across open ground. Tsunade was legendary for her strength, capable of shattering mountains with single punches, her medical knowledge allowing regeneration that bordered on immortality. But Naruto felt no concern. Gold dust waterfall flow. He thrust both hands forward, and a tsunami of golden particles erupted from the earth beneath him. The scale dwarfed anything he demonstrated before leaving. Thousands of tons of gold flooding the training ground in seconds, moving with the force of a natural disaster. Tsunade leaped away, her enhanced strength launching her clear of the initial wave. But more gold appeared beneath her landing point, then more, spreading faster than she could avoid. Within seconds, the entire training ground had become a sea of flowing golden particles. Gold rain. Naruto raised his hand, and the sky filled with compressed gold projectiles that fell like meteors. Each impact created small craters, demonstrating power sufficient to shatter stone. Tsunade's fists glowed with chakra as she punched the incoming projectiles, her legendary strength dispersing them. But for every one she destroyed, 10 more appeared. The bombardment was relentless, overwhelming even her incredible abilities. Gold binding. Tendrils erupted from the sea of gold beneath Tsunade's feet, wrapping around her legs before she could dodge. More appeared, restraining arms, torso, immobilizing her completely within seconds. Enough, Tsunade called, and Naruto immediately released the binding. You've surpassed Jonin level entirely. Your power is unprecedented. I'm not done yet. Naruto's eyes blazed gold as he activated his ultimate technique. Gold Awakening. The transformation spread from his position like a wave of liquid metal. Grass became gold. Trees transformed into golden sculptures. The ground itself shifted from earth to precious metal. Within seconds, the entire training area had become a golden landscape under Naruto's complete control. This is my awakened form, Naruto explained, standing at the center of his golden domain. Everything you see is now part of my sensory network and under my direct control. I can manipulate every particle, sense every movement, create constructs limited only by imagination and chakra. In this form, I'm effectively invincible within my domain. Tsunade stared at the transformed landscape with genuine awe. You've turned yourself into a one-man army. No wonder Akatsuki is terrified of you. They should be more terrified. Naruto deactivated the awakening, returning the training ground to normal. Because I'm still getting stronger. Every day I develop new techniques, refine existing abilities, push past limits everyone says are impossible. By the time Akatsuki comes for me, I'll be ready to obliterate them. Confidence or arrogance? Tsunade asked. Reality, Naruto replied. I don't boast about what I can't deliver. I'm telling you facts. Akatsuki has legendary members, S-rank missing nin with terrifying abilities. But I've fought and defeated dozens of opponents at that level during my training. My gold counters most known techniques. My sensory abilities detect ambushes before they happen. And my power scale lets me fight multiple opponents simultaneously without difficulty. I'm not worried about Akatsuki. I'm ready to end them. Tsunade studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Then let's make sure you're prepared, because they're coming sooner than you think. She was right. That night, as Naruto settled into his old apartment, now significantly upgraded thanks to his hero status, his gold dust sensory network detected unusual chakra signatures approaching Konoha. Two individuals, both radiating power that marked them as exceptional shinobi, moving with purpose toward the village. Naruto recognized one signature immediately. Itachi Uchiha, the S-rank missing nin who'd shattered Sasuke's confidence years ago, who demonstrated abilities that made even Kakashi seem helpless. The other signature was unfamiliar, but equally powerful. So you came, Naruto murmured, gold dust already flowing around him in defensive patterns. Perfect timing. He met them at the village's edge, appearing from a swirl of gold particles as Itachi and his partner, a shark-like man carrying a massive sword, approached the gates. Naruto Uzumaki, Itachi said calmly, his Sharingan already active. We've come for the 9 tails. Surrender peacefully, and Konoha won't suffer. Surrender? Naruto laughed, genuine amusement in his voice. You're joking, right? I've been waiting 3 years for Akatsuki to make a move, and you think I'm gonna surrender? The kid's got spirit. So Kisame grinned, hefting Samehada. I like him. Can I fight him first before we extract the Biju? You can try. Gold dust began pouring from the earth around Naruto's feet, spreading across the ground in expanding circles. But I should warn you, I'm not the same Genin you encountered 3 years ago. I'm stronger now, much stronger, and you're about to learn why Akatsuki should have stayed away from Konoha. Itachi's Sharingan spun, attempting to trap Naruto in Genjutsu. But gold dust formed a barrier before Naruto's eyes automatically, disrupting the visual connection required for the technique. Genjutsu won't work, Naruto explained. My gold dust reacts to hostile chakra automatically, creating defenses before attacks land. You'd need to be faster than thought itself to bypass it. Then we'll use force. Kasame charged forward, Samehada raised to absorb Naruto's chakra. Gold dust waterfall flow. Naruto unleashed a tsunami of golden particles that crashed toward Kasame with devastating force. The Akatsuki member tried to absorb the chakra powering the technique, but there was too much, thousands of tons of gold moving with irresistible momentum. Samehada screamed as the gold engulfed it, the living sword unable to consume the sheer volume of chakra being channeled through Naruto's technique. Kasame leaped clear, his expression showing genuine surprise. "That's not normal chakra," Kasame reported to Itachi. "Samehada can't absorb it fast enough. The scale is too massive." "Because I'm pulling gold from deposits across the entire region," Naruto said, more gold continuing to pour from the earth. "You're not fighting a ninja with a bloodline ability. You're fighting someone who's turned gold manipulation into an absolute domain. And you're inside my territory now." Gold binding. Tendrils erupted from multiple directions simultaneously, targeting both Akatsuki members with precision. Itachi dodged with Sharingan enhanced perception, but Kasame found himself wrapped in liquid metal that solidified instantly. Water style, water shark bomb. Kasame formed a massive shark construct to break free, but gold dust infiltrated the water, turning it into a golden prison instead. "I told you," Naruto said, walking calmly through his sea of gold dust. "You can't win here. My gold counters water techniques by absorbing them. It counters fire by dispersing heat. It counters lightning by grounding it. And it counters your genjutsu by disrupting visual connections. What exactly did you think would happen when you came for me?" Itachi's expression remained impassive, but his body language shifted subtly. He was reassessing the threat level dramatically. "You've become stronger than intelligence reported. Significantly stronger." "Intelligence is always behind reality," Naruto replied. "By the time your organization hears about my current abilities, I'll have developed new techniques they haven't imagined yet. That's what training means, constant evolution." "Amaterasu!" Itachi's Manjikyo Sharingan activated, and black flames erupted toward Naruto's position. The legendary technique burned everything it touched, supposedly inextinguishable. Gold Inferno. Naruto superheated his gold dust to temperatures exceeding the black flames, creating a barrier of molten metal that the Amaterasu couldn't penetrate. The two fires clashed, but Naruto's gold proved superior. He had unlimited fuel from underground deposits, while Itachi's Amaterasu drained his limited chakra. The black flames extinguished as Itachi's chakra depleted. Naruto pressed his advantage. Gold Divine Punishment. A massive golden fist materialized above the battlefield, easily 60 feet in diameter, detailed down to individual fingerprints. It descended with the weight of judgment itself, forcing both Akatsuki members to scatter. The impact had created a crater 30 feet deep. Before the dust settled, Naruto followed up with another technique. Gold Rain. The sky filled with compressed gold projectiles that fell like a meteor shower, blanketing the entire area. Kasame and Itachi dodged desperately, but the bombardment was too dense, too widespread. Several projectiles struck Kasame, and even Itachi's Sharingan couldn't predict every trajectory. "We're withdrawing," Itachi announced, forming hand seals. "This target is beyond our current capabilities." "Running already?" Naruto formed another massive construct, a golden dragon that coiled through the air with deadly grace. "I'm just getting started. Gold Dragon Emperor." The dragon launched toward the retreating Akatsuki members, its mouth filled with superheated gold that sprayed like dragon's breath. Itachi substituted with a crow clone at the last second, while Kasame dove underground, but Naruto's gold dust sensory network detected their positions perfectly. "You can't hide from me. My gold is everywhere, touching everything, sensing all movements, underground, above ground, in the shadows, it doesn't matter. I know exactly where you are." He proved it by erupting gold beneath Kasame's underground position, forcing the shark-like shinobi to surface or be crushed. More gold binding wrapped around both opponents simultaneously, restraining movement. "This is your last warning," Naruto said, gold dust swirling around him like a protective storm. "Leave Konoha and never return. Tell your organization that the Nine Tails Jinchuriki is off limits. Tell them I'm stronger than any of their members. Tell them if they come for me again, I'll hunt down every single Akatsuki operative and bury them in gold." "Bold words," Itachi replied, his Sharingan analyzing Naruto's techniques even while restrained. "But Akatsuki's goals won't change because of one strong opponent. Then Akatsuki will die, Naruto stated flatly. I'm not making empty threats. I'm telling you what will happen. Your organization hunts Jinchuriki? Fine. But I'm the hunter you can't catch, the prey that kills predators. And if you push me, I'll end your entire group myself. He released the binding slightly, giving them room to escape. Go, report to your leader. Tell them exactly what you faced here, and pray they're smart enough to leave Konoha alone. Itachi and Kasame retreated using high-level escape techniques, disappearing into the night. But Naruto's gold dust tracked them for miles, ensuring they truly departed. The confrontation drew immediate attention. Tsunade, Kakashi, and several Anbu arrived within minutes, finding Naruto standing calmly in a landscape transformed by battle. Craters, golden residue, scorch marks from the clash of techniques. You fought off 2 Akatsuki members alone, Tsunade said, her voice mixing disbelief and respect. Itachi Uchiha and Kasame Hoshigaki, both S-rank threats capable of destroying villages. And you drove them away. They weren't prepared for my current power level, Naruto explained. Intelligence told them I was a talented genin with gold manipulation. They encountered someone who could counter their techniques completely. Next time, they'll come with better strategies, more members, specifically designed countermeasures. But it won't matter. I'll be even stronger by then. Your confidence is admirable, Kakashi observed, his sharing an eye studying the battlefield's residual chakra. But Akatsuki has resources you might not fully understand. They've gathered some of the most dangerous missing nin in history. They have techniques specifically designed to capture Jinchuriki. You can't assume they'll always be weaker than you. I don't assume, Naruto replied. I prepare. Every day I train, every technique I develop, every limit I push past. It's all preparation for the inevitable confrontation with Akatsuki's full force. When that day comes, I'll be ready, and they'll regret ever targeting the Nine Tails. The incident prompted emergency meetings among Konoha's leadership. Naruto attended, finding himself treated as an equal rather than a subordinate. His power had earned him respect that transcended rank. Akatsuki's becoming more aggressive, Tsunade explained to the assembled jonin and clan heads. They've captured multiple Biju already. The 2 tails, the 5 tails, and we've lost contact with the 6 tails Jinchuriki. They're systematically hunting down all 9. Naruto is their ultimate target, but they'll attack other villages to complete their collection first. Then we use that time to prepare, Shikaku Nara suggested. Fortify defenses, gather intelligence, form alliances with other villages facing the same threat. Or we go on the offensive, Naruto countered. Akatsuki is hunting us? Fine, let's hunt them back. I can track their members through my gold dust network. I can fight multiple S-rank opponents simultaneously. We know their base locations from intelligence reports. Why wait for them to attack when we can strike first? Because we don't have sufficient force to assault Akatsuki's strongholds, Tsunade replied. They've fortified their positions with defensive techniques designed by some of history's greatest strategists. A direct assault would cost too many lives. Not if I lead it, Naruto insisted. My gold awakening can transform entire battlefields. My sensory abilities detect traps before we trigger them. My defensive techniques protect whole teams simultaneously. I'm not suggesting a conventional assault. I'm proposing we use my abilities to neutralize their advantages. The room fell silent as the leadership considered this unprecedented proposal. A 15-year-old suggesting he could single-handedly change the strategic balance against an organization that had terrorized the shinobi world for years. We'll consider it, Tsunade finally said. But for now, we focus on defense and intelligence gathering. Naruto, you'll work with our analysis team to identify Akatsuki movements. When we have actionable intelligence, we'll discuss offensive options. The following weeks established new patterns. Naruto worked with Konoha's intelligence division, spreading his gold dust network across vast regions to detect Akatsuki movements. His sensory range, enhanced by strategic positioning of gold deposits, effectively covered significant portions of the elemental nations. This is unprecedented, Ibiki Morino admitted, studying the sensory network reports. You're detecting movements our conventional methods miss entirely. Akatsuki can't move without triggering your gold dust somewhere. That's the advantage of a sensory network that spans hundreds of miles, Naruto explained. Most shinobi can sense enemies within a few hundred meters at best. My gold dust touches everything. It's in the soil, the water, carried by wind. Anywhere there's even trace amounts of gold, I can sense disturbances. The intelligence proved invaluable. Naruto detected Akatsuki members approaching the hidden cloud village to capture the Eight Tails. He warned them in advance, giving the Raikage time to prepare defenses. The resulting battle drove off the attackers, but it confirmed Akatsuki's systematic approach. They were hunting Biju methodically, and nothing would stop them except overwhelming force. "They'll come for you eventually," Kakashi warned during a training session where they practiced combination techniques. "The Nine Tails is their ultimate goal. Every other capture brings them closer to attempting yours." "Let them come," Naruto replied, forming a massive golden construct with casual ease, something that would have required intense concentration 3 years ago, but now manifested from pure reflex. "I've developed techniques specifically designed to counter Akatsuki's known abilities. Itachi's Amaterasu, Gold Inferno neutralizes it. Kasame's chakra absorption, the scale of my techniques overwhelms Samahata. Deidara's explosives, gold barriers contain the blasts. I've studied every Akatsuki member's abilities and created counters for each one." "What about abilities you haven't studied?" Kakashi challenged. "Unknown techniques, unexpected combinations, strategies designed specifically to counter your gold?" "Then I adapt." Naruto demonstrated by rapidly shifting his golden construct through multiple forms: dragon, giant, fortress, each transformation flowing seamlessly into the next. "My gold manipulation is versatile enough to handle surprises. And my Uzumaki chakra reserves mean I can outlast almost anyone in extended combat. They'd need to defeat me quickly or face inevitable exhaustion. But adaptation would be tested sooner than anticipated. Pain at Konoha directly. 6 bodies descended on the village simultaneously, each wielding impossible abilities that defied conventional understanding. The Deva path commanded gravitational forces. The Ashura path transformed into a living weapons platform. The animal path summoned creatures from nightmare. The human path extracted souls. The Prita path absorbed chakra. And the Naraka path interrogated and killed with supernatural judgment. Naruto sensed their arrival through his gold dust network seconds before they breached the village perimeter. "Tsunade! 6 hostile signatures approaching from multiple directions. Power levels are off the charts." He didn't wait for orders. Gold dust erupted from strategic points across Konoha, creating defensive barriers that channeled the attackers toward predetermined positions where defenses waited. But Pain's abilities immediately demonstrated they weren't conventional opponents. "Shinra Tensei!" The Deva path extended his hand, and gravitational force repelled Naruto's gold dust like wind-scattering leaves. The technique pushed back tons of golden particles with casual ease. "Interesting," Naruto observed, reforming his gold in different patterns. "Gravitational manipulation. That's a new counter to deal with." He adapted instantly. Gold rain. Instead of waves of dust that could be repelled, he launched compressed projectiles from above. The Deva path deflected them with another Shinra Tensei, but Naruto noticed the timing. There was a brief cooldown between uses of the gravitational technique. 5 seconds, Naruto calculated. "I can work with that." Gold dust waterfall flow. He launched a massive wave timed to arrive just as the Deva path's cooldown ended. The gravitational ninja attempted to repel it but couldn't. The technique struck with full force, engulfing the Deva path in thousands of tons of gold. But the other paths adapted. The Prita path absorbed the chakra powering Naruto's technique, while the Asura path launched missiles that scattered the gold dust. The animal path summoned massive creatures: a rhinoceros, a bird, a dog that split into dozens of copies, each one targeting different village sections. "Fine." Naruto's eyes blazed gold as his power surged to levels he'd never demonstrated publicly. "You want to see what I'm really capable of?" Gold awakening. The transformation spread from his position like a tsunami of liquid metal. Streets became gold. Buildings transformed into golden structures. The ground itself shifted from earth to precious metal. Within seconds, a massive section of Konoha had become a golden landscape under Naruto's complete control. "In my awakened domain, you're fighting on my terms," Naruto announced, his voice carrying across the transformed battlefield. "Everything you see obeys my will. Every particle is a weapon, Every surface is a sensor. You've made a fatal mistake attacking Konoha while I'm here. The animal path summons found themselves trapped instantly as gold erupted beneath their feet, binding legs and preventing movement. The Asura Path's missiles detonated against golden barriers that appeared automatically to intercept them. Even the Deva Path's gravitational techniques struggled against the sheer scale of gold responding to Naruto's commands. Gold Divine Punishment. 5 massive golden fists materialized simultaneously, each one targeting a different pain body. They descended with coordinated precision, forcing the paths to scatter or be crushed. The Deva Path repelled one fist, but 4 others struck true, creating craters that shook the village. Impossible, the Deva Path said, rising from a crater with visible damage. One shinobi shouldn't possess this much power. I'm not a normal shinobi. Naruto formed dozens of golden constructs simultaneously. Dragons, giants, weapons, each one moving with independent purpose. I'm the Gold Emperor of Konoha, and you've attacked my home. The battle intensified beyond anything Konoha had witnessed. Naruto fought all 6 paths simultaneously, his gold manipulation creating a storm of attacks that came from every direction. The Prita path tried to absorb his chakra but couldn't keep pace with the volume. The human path attempted to extract his soul but couldn't penetrate his gold armor. The Naraka path's interrogation techniques failed against someone who controlled the very ground beneath them. Universal pull. The Deva path activated another gravitational technique, attempting to drag Naruto within reach, but gold dust formed anchor points that resisted the pull, keeping Naruto positioned exactly where he wanted. Gold Inferno. Naruto superheated the gold surrounding the paths, creating a prison of molten metal that forced them into an increasingly small area. The temperature rose beyond human tolerance, and even the supposedly immortal pain bodies showed signs of damage. You're strong, the Deva path admitted, and for the first time, Pain's usually emotionless voice carried respect. Stronger than any single opponent we've faced. But you're protecting the entire village. Can you defend everyone while also attacking us? It was a valid tactical question. Naruto's awakened form covered a large area, but Konoha was massive. Other pain bodies were attacking sections beyond his transformed zone, threatening civilians and shinobi who couldn't defend against such overwhelming power. Watch me, Naruto said. He split his focus in ways that should have been impossible. Gold dust networks spread beyond his awakened zone, creating barriers throughout Konoha. Defensive walls rose automatically wherever pain bodies attacked. Civilians found themselves protected by golden shields that appeared from nowhere. Jonin received supporting fire as gold projectiles intercepted enemy techniques. Naruto was simultaneously attacking Pain, defending the village, coordinating with Konoha forces, and tracking enemy movements, all while maintaining his awakened form and fighting at a level that would have exhausted most Jonin within minutes. How? The Deva Path's question carried genuine confusion. Your chakra control, your multitasking ability, the scale of these techniques, you're operating like a hive mind with unlimited resources. Uzumaki bloodline gives me massive chakra reserves, Naruto explained, launching another barrage of golden attacks. Years of training taught me perfect chakra control, and my gold dust network lets me sense and respond to threats across vast areas simultaneously. You picked the wrong village to attack. The fight reached its climax when Naruto activated his ultimate technique, Gold God Bomb. Above the battlefield, a construct formed that dwarfed everything that had come before. A massive sphere of compressed gold, easily 100 feet in diameter, radiating chakra so dense it distorted the air around it. The technique represented the culmination of years developing his gold manipulation, an attack with the potential to obliterate entire districts. Shinra Tensei! The Deva Path attempted to repel the massive construct, but the scale exceeded his gravitational technique's capacity. The bomb descended relentlessly, promising destruction that would end the battle decisively. At the last second, the Deva Path performed a technique Naruto hadn't anticipated. Catastrophic planetary devastation. Gravitational force erupted on a scale that rivaled Naruto's own attack. The technique pulled everything toward a central point, buildings, ground, even Naruto's gold. The two ultimate attacks clashed in a display of power that lit up the sky, their competing forces creating shockwaves felt across the entire village. The collision created a stalemate. Naruto's Gold God Bomb possessed devastating explosive potential. Pain's planetary devastation wielded gravitational control that bordered on divine. Neither could overcome the other completely, so they canceled each other in a detonation that cleared the battlefield and exhausted both combatants. When the dust settled, Naruto stood at the center of a massive crater, his awakened form still active but clearly straining his chakra reserves. The 6 pain bodies surrounded him at a distance, damaged but still functional. This could continue indefinitely, the Devapath observed. You have the power to fight us to mutual destruction, but is that what you want? Your village in ruins, your people casualties of our battle? What do you want? Naruto demanded, gold dust still flowing defensively around him. Why attack Konoha? Why hunt the Biju? What's Akatsuki's endgame? Peace, the Devapath replied, and the answer was so unexpected that Naruto hesitated. We seek to create a world without war. The Biju are weapons, tools that nations use to threaten and dominate each other. We will gather all 9, combine their power, and create a weapon so devastating that nations will fear to wage war ever again. Mutually assured destruction will enforce peace. That's insane, Naruto said. Peace through fear isn't real peace. It's just delayed conflict. Says the shinobi whose power terrifies enemies into retreat, the Devapath countered. You've created peace around Konoha through overwhelming strength. How is that different from what we propose on a global scale? The question struck deeper than Naruto wanted to admit. His gold manipulation had indeed created a deterrent. Villages thought twice about threatening Konoha because they knew he could respond with devastating force. Was that truly different from Akatsuki's plan? The difference is choice, Naruto finally replied. I offer strength that protects, not dominates. Villages respect Konoha because we defend allies, not because we threaten destruction. Your plan removes choice entirely, forcing peace through fear of annihilation. That's not the world I want. Then we are at an impasse, the Devapath said. You cannot stop us without destroying your own village in the process. And we cannot capture you without sacrificing resources we need for other targets. So I propose a temporary ceasefire. Akatsuki withdraws from Konoha today, but we will return when we've gathered the other Biju. And then, Naruto Uzumaki, you will face the full might of our organization. It was a tactical retreat disguised as negotiation. Pain recognized that capturing Naruto would cost too much, but leaving him as the final target allowed Akatsuki to complete their other objectives first. Naruto considered refusing, pushing the fight to conclusion regardless of cost. His gold manipulation could potentially defeat all 6 paths if he was willing to sacrifice sections of the village. But that went against everything he stood for. Protecting Konoha meant more than defeating enemies. Leave, Naruto said finally. But understand this, I'm not waiting for you to come back. I'm hunting Akatsuki now. Every member, every base, every operation. You've declared war on Konoha, and I'm bringing that war to your doorstep. The pain bodies retreated, disappearing through techniques that Naruto's gold dust network tracked for miles. He maintained surveillance until they left Fire Country entirely, ensuring they truly departed. The aftermath was devastating. Sections of Konoha lay in ruins from the battle, casualties numbered in the dozens, though Naruto's defensive interventions had prevented them from reaching the hundreds. Buildings needed reconstruction. Civilians needed reassurance that their village could withstand such attacks. But standing in the center of his awakened zone, surrounded by golden landscape that demonstrated his power beyond any doubt, Naruto made a silent promise. Akatsuki would pay for this attack. Every member would face his gold, and he would end their organization permanently. Tsunade found him hours later, after the immediate crisis had been managed and recovery efforts began. You saved the village, she said simply. Pain's attack should have killed hundreds, destroyed entire districts, but your gold manipulation defended civilians, protected key infrastructure, and fought 6 S-rank opponents to a standstill. Naruto, you're not just a powerful shinobi anymore. You're Konoha's ultimate defense. It wasn't enough, Naruto replied, staring at the damaged sections beyond his awakened zone. People still died, buildings still fell. I promised to protect everyone, and I failed. You're one person, Tsunade reminded him gently. Not a god. You can't be everywhere, can't prevent every tragedy. But what you did today, fighting pain while simultaneously defending the village, that's beyond what any shinobi in history has accomplished. Even the first Hokage at his peak couldn't have matched what you just did. Then I need to get stronger, Naruto said with absolute determination. Pain promised Akatsuki would return with their full force. When that day comes, I won't settle for stalemates. I'll end them completely. He deactivated his awakened form, returning the transformed sections of Konoha to normal. The effort left him exhausted. Maintaining that level of power for hours had drained even his massive chakra reserves. But the experience had taught valuable lessons about his limits and how to push past them. The days following Pain's attack transformed Konoha's strategic approach entirely. The other great villages, hearing that Akatsuki had directly assaulted a major village, recognized the threat could no longer be ignored. Emergency summons went out for a 5 Kage summit, the first time all 5 villages' leaders would meet in years. Naruto attended as Konoha's representative alongside Tsunade, his presence a statement of power that couldn't be dismissed. When the Kage gathered, tensions immediately ran high. Konoha allowed Akatsuki to attack them. The Raikage accused. Your security failed, and now they've proven no village is safe. Konoha didn't allow anything, Naruto replied, his voice carrying authority that made even the Raikage pause. Akatsuki attacked with 6 S-rank bodies simultaneously, each wielding abilities that defy normal combat logic. We defended successfully, drove them off, and prevented catastrophic casualties. What exactly could your village have done better? The 8 Tails Jinchuriki and I would have crushed them, the Raikage boasted. Then why did Akatsuki members successfully infiltrate your village last month? Naruto countered, gold dust already flowing around him as a subtle threat. My sensory network detected them. I warned you, and still they penetrated your defenses deep enough to gather intelligence. Don't lecture Konoha about security when your own village has been compromised. The Tsuchikage intervened before the argument could escalate. Accusations accomplish nothing. We face a common enemy. Akatsuki hunts all Jinchuriki, threatens all villages. We need coordinated response. Agreed, the Kazekage said, and Naruto recognized Gaara's voice. His fellow Jinchuriki had indeed become leader of Sunagakure, fulfilling the path they discussed years ago. I propose an alliance specifically targeting Akatsuki. Share intelligence, coordinate defenses, support each other's Jinchuriki. And who leads this alliance? The Mizukage asked. Every village wants control. None trust others completely. I lead it, Naruto said, and every Kage turned to stare at him. I have the most comprehensive intelligence on Akatsuki movements through my gold dust sensory network. I've fought and defeated multiple Akatsuki members, and I defended Konoha against Pain's assault, something no other shinobi has accomplished. Give me command of anti-Akatsuki operations, and I'll end this threat permanently. You're 15 years old, the Tsuchikage pointed out. Skilled, powerful, but young. Leadership requires more than combat ability. Leadership requires results, Naruto countered. And I deliver results. Every mission I lead succeeds. Every battle I fight ends in victory. Every village I protect survives. You want someone experienced? Fine. Surround me with experienced advisors. But I'm the one who can actually defeat Akatsuki, and you all know it. The silence that followed was profound. The Kei exchanged glances, each recognizing the uncomfortable truth. This young shinobi possessed power that exceeded most of their village's capabilities. His gold manipulation had reached legendary status. His defeat of multiple Akatsuki members was documented, and his defense of Konoha demonstrated strategic abilities far beyond his age. I support Naruto's leadership of anti-Akatsuki operations, Gaara said, breaking the silence. As a fellow Jinchuriki, I trust his commitment to ending this threat. And as someone who's witnessed his power firsthand, I know he has the capability to deliver on his promises. Sunagakure seconds the motion, Tsunade added. Naruto has Konoha's full confidence and support. The other Kage debated, but eventually agreed to a trial arrangement. Naruto would coordinate intelligence gathering and lead offensive operations against confirmed Akatsuki targets, with the Kaji maintaining oversight and veto power over major decisions. It was a compromise that gave Naruto what he needed: authority to hunt Akatsuki directly. The war against Akatsuki began in earnest. Naruto's gold dust network, expanded through strategic positioning of deposits across multiple nations, detected Akatsuki movements with unprecedented accuracy. When Hidan and Kakuzu attacked a temple, Naruto intercepted them with a team of jonin and obliterated both. Gold Divine Punishment crushed Kakuzu's multiple hearts simultaneously, while Gold Binding restrained Hidan until sealing teams could contain his immortality. When Sasori attempted to infiltrate Sunagakure, Naruto's sensory network detected the puppet master hours before he arrived. The resulting battle showcased Gold Manipulation's perfect counter to puppetry. Gold Dust Drizzle destroyed puppet bodies faster than Sasori could deploy them, while Gold Inferno melted his poison weapons before they could be used. "Your gold is more versatile than my puppets," Sasori admitted as Golden Binding restrained him completely. "I spent decades developing the perfect army, but you counter it with a single element. That's frustrating." "Your mistake was relying on one strategy," Naruto replied. "I develop new techniques constantly, adapt to every opponent, never stop evolving. That's why I win." Deidara proved more challenging. The explosion specialist's attacks created destructive force that even Gold struggled to contain completely. But Naruto adapted, using Gold Awakening to transform the battlefield into a domain where his defenses could absorb blast impacts before they reached critical levels. "Art is an explosion," Deidara shouted, detonating his ultimate technique, a massive explosion designed to obliterate everything within miles. "Gold Cocoon." Naruto formed a complete sphere of compressed gold around himself and his team, the defensive construct dense enough to withstand even Deidara's strongest attack. The explosion raged outside, but inside the cocoon, they survived unharmed. When the blast cleared, Naruto emerged and captured Deidara with Gold Binding before the missing nin could create more explosives. Art is also knowing when you're beaten. Each Akatsuki member fell to combinations of overwhelming gold manipulation and tactical precision. Naruto didn't just overpower them, he studied their abilities, identified weaknesses, and developed specific counters that neutralized their advantages completely. But two members remained elusive: Itachi and Kisame, who'd grown cautious after their initial encounter with Naruto. They avoided direct confrontation, staying mobile, never remaining in one location long enough for Naruto's sensory network to pinpoint them accurately. "They're the smart ones," Kakashi observed during a strategy session. "They recognize they can't defeat you directly, so they're avoiding engagement entirely." "Which means I need to force an engagement," Naruto replied, studying intelligence maps that showed Akatsuki's dwindling resources. "They're running out of safe havens. Every base we destroy, every member we capture, it constrains their options. Eventually, they'll have nowhere to run." That moment came when intelligence reported Itachi and Kasame had returned to a hidden base in Rain Country, Pain's domain, where Akatsuki leadership operated. The location was fortified with defensive techniques designed by multiple S-rank missing nin, protected by traps that had killed dozens of infiltration attempts. "It's a fortress," Shikaku Nara warned. "Direct assault would cost hundreds of lives even with your abilities." "Then I won't do a direct assault," Naruto said. "I'll do something better. Gold Awakening across the entire base simultaneously." The technique scale exceeded anything Naruto had attempted before. He positioned himself on a mountain overlooking the base, spread his gold dust network throughout the entire valley, and channeled chakra on a scale that made the air itself vibrate. Gold Awakening. The transformation spread like a tsunami of liquid metal. The ground beneath the base became gold. Trees transformed into golden sculptures. Rivers turned into flowing streams of precious metal. Within minutes, the entire valley, miles of territory, had become a golden landscape under Naruto's complete control. "Impossible," Pain's voice echoed across the valley through speaker systems. "One shinobi transformed an entire region. Your power has surpassed anything I predicted." "You attacked Konoha," Naruto replied, his voice carrying through the golden landscape. "Now I'm returning the favor. Every trap you set is useless. I control the ground beneath them. Every defensive technique fails. I sense them before they activate. Your fortress is now my domain. Surrender or be buried in gold. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Every Akatsuki member still at the base, Itachi, Kasame, Pain's bodies, and several others Naruto hadn't encountered yet, emerged to defend their headquarters. Finally, Naruto said, gold dust swirling around him in preparation for the battle of his life. Let's end this. The battle that followed would be remembered as the greatest single combat display in shinobi history. Naruto fought 8 S-rank opponents simultaneously within his awakened domain. Gold Divine Punishment targeted Pain's bodies. Gold Inferno trapped Kasame's water techniques. Gold Binding restrained multiple enemies at once. Gold Rain bombarded the battlefield continuously. And through it all, Naruto maintained perfect control, his Uzumaki chakra reserves proving sufficient to sustain techniques that would have killed normal shinobi from exhaustion. Universal Pull. Pain attempted to disrupt Naruto's position, but gold anchors kept him stable. Water Style, Super Shark Bomb. Kasame launched his most powerful technique, but Gold Dust Waterfall Flow absorbed and neutralized it. Amaterasu. Itachi's black flames erupted, but Gold Inferno matched them with superior heat. Naruto countered every technique, adapted to every strategy, and slowly but inevitably wore down Akatsuki's defenses. His gold was everywhere, in the air, the ground, flowing like water through the transformed landscape. It defended him automatically, attacked on command, and responded to his will faster than thought. This is the power of the Gold Emperor, Naruto declared, forming dozens of massive constructs simultaneously. You thought you could threaten the world with your collected bijou? I'm showing you what real power looks like. Gold that obeys my every command, a domain where I'm effectively invincible, and the determination to protect what I love no matter what it costs. He activated multiple ultimate techniques in sequence. Gold God Bomb targeting the base's central structure, Gold Dragon Emperor attacking from above, Gold Dust Imperial Funeral rising from below. The combined assault exceeded anything even Akatsuki had faced before. Pain's final planetary devastation technique attempted to contain the attacks, but Naruto's power scale was too massive. The gravitational technique shattered under the strain, and the base collapsed in a spectacular display of golden destruction. When the dust finally settled, Naruto stood alone amidst the ruins of Akatsuki's headquarters, his awakened form still active, his enemies defeated or fled. He'd won. The gold manipulation slowly faded, returning the transformed valley to normal. The effort had drained Naruto's chakra reserves to dangerous levels. Even his Uzumaki stamina had limits. But he'd accomplished the impossible. He destroyed Akatsuki's main base, defeated or driven off their remaining members, and effectively ended the organization as a coherent threat. Konoha forces arrived hours later to find Naruto unconscious at the center of a massive crater, his body still surrounded by protective gold dust that formed automatically even while he slept. They carried him home as a hero, the shinobi who'd single-handedly defeated the most dangerous criminal organization in recent history. Recovery took weeks. The chakra expenditure from maintaining gold awakening across an entire valley and fighting 8 S-rank opponents simultaneously had pushed Naruto beyond his limits. But when he finally woke in Konoha's hospital, it was to news that changed everything. The war is coming, Tsunade informed him seriously. Akatsuki's remaining members have joined forces with someone even more dangerous, Madara Uchiha, the legendary founder who supposedly died decades ago. He's declared war on the entire shinobi world, claiming he'll create peace by placing everyone under genjutsu. The 5 great nations are forming a united army to oppose him. Then I'll fight, Naruto said immediately, sitting up despite his body's protests. I destroyed Akatsuki. I can destroy Madara too. Not alone, Tsunade replied. This isn't like your previous battles. Madara commands an army of white Zetsu clones, thousands of enemies that can mimic any shinobi's appearance and abilities. He has Kabuto performing Edo Tensei, resurrection techniques that summon dead shinobi as immortal servants, and he possesses the Rinnegan, giving him access to techniques that even your gold might struggle to counter. Then I'll get stronger, Naruto stated with absolute conviction. However long I need to recover, whatever training I need to complete, I'll be ready when the war begins. The Fourth Great Ninja War erupted 3 months later. Naruto stood at the center of the allied shinobi forces formation, his presence a rallying point for thousands of ninja from every village. His reputation had reached legendary status, the Gold Emperor who defeated Akatsuki, whose power rivaled the Kage, whose determination inspired everyone who witnessed him fight. Today we face an enemy who would enslave the world. Naruto addressed the assembled army, his voice carrying across the battlefield through chakra amplification. Madara Uchiha and his forces threaten everything we've built, everyone we love, all the peace we've worked to create. But we're not helpless, we're not weak, and we're definitely not surrendering. Gold dust began flowing from his position, spreading across the battlefield in waves that covered miles. I'm going to transform this entire battlefield into my domain. My gold will protect you, support you, and destroy our enemies. Trust in that protection. Fight with everything you have, and together we'll end this war decisively. Gold Awakening. The transformation exceeded even his assault on Akatsuki's base. The entire battlefield, dozens of square miles, became golden landscape under his control. Every allied shinobi found themselves protected by automatic gold barriers. Every enemy clone that appeared was immediately detected by his sensory network. And Naruto himself stood at the center, channeling chakra on a scale that made legendary techniques seem ordinary. The battle began with overwhelming force. White Zetsu clones emerged from the ground by the thousands, attempting to infiltrate the allied forces. But Naruto's gold detected them instantly. Their chakra signatures differed subtly from real shinobi, and his sensory network identified every fake. Gold dust drizzle! Rain of golden particles fell across the battlefield, each one targeting a confirmed clone. Thousands of enemies fell within minutes, their disguises meaningless against detection that penetrated every deception. Impressive! Madara's voice echoed across the battlefield as the legendary Uchiha appeared, his renegade eyes glowing with power that matched Naruto's gold manipulation. You've turned the battlefield into your weapon, but can you maintain this scale while also fighting me? Watch me, Naruto replied, forming massive golden constructs that attacked while his awakening continued, protecting the allied forces. Gold Divine Punishment. Multiple golden fists descended simultaneously, targeting Madara's position. The Uchiha activated his perfect Susanoo, a massive chakra construct that towered over the battlefield like a warrior god. The two titans clashed with impact that shook the earth, their techniques evenly matched in power and scale. You're strong, Madara acknowledged, his Susanoo deflecting Naruto's attacks. Perhaps the strongest opponent I've faced in decades. But you're young, inexperienced in prolonged warfare. Let's see how long you can maintain this power. It was a valid concern. Naruto's gold awakening across the entire battlefield required constant chakra flow that would exhaust most shinobi within minutes. But his Uzumaki heritage provided reserves that seemed bottomless, and years of training had perfected his chakra control to the point where waste was practically non-existent. Hours passed. The battle raged continuously. Naruto fought Madara directly while simultaneously coordinating the allied forces, directing gold barriers to protect vulnerable positions, launching attacks that supported struggling units, and maintaining his awakening across the expanding battlefield as more areas became contested. How? Madara finally demanded, his Susanoo showing cracks from Naruto's relentless assault. Your chakra reserve should have depleted hours ago. Even the strongest shinobi in history couldn't maintain techniques at this scale indefinitely. I'm not most shinobi, Naruto replied, launching another barrage of golden attacks. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, inheritor of the Uzumaki bloodline, master of gold manipulation. I trained every day for a decade to reach this level, and I'm not stopping until every enemy is defeated and peace is guaranteed. The Nine Tails chakra surged through him, merging with his gold manipulation in ways he'd practiced but never demonstrated publicly. Golden chakra, a combination of his element and the Biju's power, erupted around him, forming a massive avatar that rivaled Madara's Susanoo. Gold-tailed beast mode, Naruto announced, his new form combining gold manipulation's versatility with tailed beast chakra's raw power. This is what happens when you push me to my limits, Madara. I transcend them. The golden avatar launched forward with devastating speed, its fists coated in superheated gold that punched through Suzanu's defenses. Madara retreated, genuinely surprised for the first time in the battle. "You've combined Biju Chakra with your bloodline ability," Madara observed, reassessing the threat level dramatically. "That shouldn't be possible. The chakra types should conflict, destabilize each other." "They do for everyone else," Naruto explained, his golden avatar forming weapons from pure chakra and gold. "But I spent years learning to harmonize them. The Nine Tails and I aren't separate entities anymore. We're partners working toward the same goal. And together, we're unstoppable." The battle escalated to levels that defied conventional combat. Madara activated his Rinnegan's full abilities: gravitational techniques, soul extraction, chakra absorption, summoning, all deployed simultaneously. But Naruto countered each one with gold manipulation enhanced by Biju Chakra. Gravitational pull? Gold anchors stabilized his position. Soul extraction? Gold barriers disrupted the spiritual connection. Chakra absorption? The scale of his power overwhelmed absorption limits. Summons? Gold binding restrained them before they could attack. "You're forcing me to use my ultimate technique," Madara said, forming hails that made the air itself vibrate with chakra. "Infinite Tsukuyomi, a genjutsu that will place the entire world under my control, creating perfect peace through shared dreams." "No!" Naruto's golden avatar surged forward, attempting to interrupt the technique. But Madara completed the seals and activated the genjutsu. Light erupted across the battlefield, bright enough to blind, the moon itself becoming a massive Rinnegan that projected infinite Tsukuyomi toward every living being. Allied shinobi began falling unconscious, trapped in genjutsu that promised their perfect dreams, while actually placing them under Madara's control. But Naruto didn't fall. His gold manipulation, working automatically even as the genjutsu attempted to take hold, formed a barrier of such dense chakra that the light couldn't penetrate. The Nine Tails chakra added another layer of protection. Biju were immune to genjutsu, and that immunity extended to their Jinchuriki when fully synchronized. "Impossible," Madara breathed, staring at the golden figure still standing while everyone else succumbed. "The infinite Tsukuyomi affects all living beings. How are you immune?" "Because I'm not just a living being," Naruto replied, his golden avatar growing even larger as he channeled everything he had. "I'm a symbol, a promise, a dream made real through determination and power. Your genjutsu offers fake peace through fake dreams. I'm offering real peace through real strength. And real always defeats fake." Gold World Transformation. The technique represented Naruto's ultimate application of his awakening ability. Not just transforming the battlefield, but expanding outward continuously, converting the entire region, then the entire country, into golden landscape that disrupted Madara's genjutsu. Everywhere the gold spread, infinite Tsukuyomi's light couldn't penetrate, and trapped shinobi woke from the false dreams. The chakra cost was astronomical. Even Naruto's massive reserve strained under the technique's demands. But he pushed through exhaustion, through pain, through limits that would have killed anyone else. Because this was it, the moment that would determine the war's outcome. Either his gold would cover enough area to save the allied forces, or Madara's genjutsu would enslave the world. The transformation spread across Fire Country, then into neighboring nations. Madara attempted to stop it, throwing every technique at Naruto's position, but the golden avatar deflected attacks while maintaining the expansion. Minutes felt like hours as the two ultimate powers clashed. Genjutsu versus gold, illusion versus reality. Finally, after what felt like eternity, the transformation reached critical mass. Enough of the world had become golden landscape that infinite Tsukuyomi's light couldn't maintain its hold. The genjutsu shattered, freeing trapped shinobi and returning them to reality. Madara stared at his failed technique with something approaching despair. "You've ruined everything. Centuries of planning, destroyed by one shinobi's refusal to accept the world as it is." "Good," Naruto replied, his golden avatar advancing despite exhaustion that made every movement agony. "Your world was a lie, mine is real, and I'm ending this war right now. Gold God's judgment." Every gold particle across the transformed landscape rose simultaneously, forming a construct so massive it dwarfed mountains. a golden warrior hundreds of feet tall, wielding a blade of compressed metal that could cut through anything. The technique represented the absolute pinnacle of Naruto's abilities. Gold Awakening applied to an entire region, formed into a single devastating attack, enhanced by Nine-Tails chakra, and backed by determination that refused to accept defeat. The Golden Warrior's blade descended toward Madara with the weight of absolute judgment. The Uchiha activated every defensive technique he possessed. Susanoo at full power, Rinnegan abilities layered for protection, space-time techniques attempting escape. None of it mattered. The blade cut through everything. Susanoo shattered, defenses failed, and Madara himself, the legendary founder who threatened the entire world, fell to a technique that embodied everything he'd fought against. The power of a single individual who refused to surrender, who believed in real connections over perfect illusions, who would sacrifice everything to protect what mattered. Madara's body dispersed into chakra, his Edo Tensei resurrection finally broken by overwhelming force. His last words carried across the battlefield. Perhaps your way was right after all. The Golden Warrior dissolved, its purpose complete. Naruto's avatar faded. The Gold Awakening across multiple countries slowly receded, returning transformed landscape to normal. And Naruto himself collapsed, unconscious before he hit the ground, his chakra reserves completely depleted for the first time in his life. The war was over. When Naruto woke days later, it was to news that the world had changed forever. The allied shinobi forces had achieved complete victory. Madara's army had dispersed without their leader. Kabuto's Edo Tensei had been stopped by Itachi before the Uchiha's resurrection ended. And most importantly, the 5 great villages had agreed to permanent alliance, recognizing that cooperation defeated threats that any single nation couldn't handle. "You're a hero," Tsunade told him as he recovered in the hospital. "Not just to Konoha, but to the entire world. You defeated Madara Uchiha, broke infinite Tsukuyomi, and transformed the war's outcome through sheer determination and power. Every village wants to honor you. The daimyo themselves are talking about creating new titles specifically recognizing your contributions." "I don't need titles," Naruto replied weakly. "I just wanted to protect everyone." "Well, you did," Kakashi added, appearing in the doorway. "And now you need to decide what comes next. You're too powerful to just go back to regular missions, too influential to ignore in political discussions. The world knows about the Gold Emperor now, and they're going to want answers about what you plan to do with that power." Naruto considered the question carefully. 3 years of training had given him overwhelming strength. The war had proven that strength could change the world. But power without purpose was meaningless, and he'd always known his ultimate goal. "I want to be Hokage," Naruto said firmly. "Not just because it was my dream, but because Konoha needs someone who can protect it against any threat. Someone the world respects enough that they think twice before starting conflicts. Someone who will use overwhelming power to prevent wars rather than wage them." "You're still young," Tsunade pointed out. 16 years old. The village elders will argue you need more experience, more political training, more time to mature. "Then I'll prove them wrong," Naruto replied with absolute confidence. "I've already demonstrated I can lead in combat. I coordinated the allied forces during the war. I've shown political skill by negotiating with the Kaji, and I've proven my power exceeds any potential threat. What more do they need?" The answer, surprisingly, was not much. The village council convened to discuss leadership succession. Tsunade wanted to step down after the war's conclusion, feeling that new leadership would better serve Konoha's future. When Naruto's name was proposed, the debate was brief. "He's too young," one elder argued. "He's more experienced in high-level combat than most jonin," Shikaku countered. "His power might intimidate other villages," another elder suggested. "His power is exactly why other villages will respect our treaties," Tsunade replied. "He lacks political experience," a clan head mentioned. "Political experience can be taught," Kakashi said. "Power like his cannot. And Konoha needs that power more than we need conventional politicians." The vote, when it came, was nearly unanimous. Naruto Uzumaki would become the 6th Hokage, the youngest person ever to hold the title, and arguably the most powerful shinobi to ever lead Konoha. The ceremony took place on a clear morning, 3 weeks later. Thousands of villagers gathered to witness history. The orphan they'd once feared, the child they'd shunned, the young shinobi who'd risen through impossible odds to become their ultimate protector, officially taking on the mantle of Hokage. Naruto stood before the assembly wearing the traditional Hokage robes, modified slightly to incorporate gold threading that caught the sunlight. The hat sat perfectly on his head, the kanji for fire, a symbol of responsibility he'd earned through countless battles. "I accept the position of 6th Hokage," Naruto announced, his voice carrying across the crowd with chakra enhancement. "And I make this promise to every person in Konoha. I will protect you with everything I have. My gold will defend our walls, my power will deter our enemies, and my determination will ensure that this village never falls to any threat, foreign or domestic. This is my ninja way, and I will never go back on my word." Gold dust erupted from his position, spreading across the village in patterns that formed Konoha's symbol in the sky. The display was beautiful, powerful, and undeniably impressive, a demonstration that their new Hokage possessed abilities beyond anything previous leaders had commanded. The crowd erupted in cheers. The boy who'd been hated had become the man they loved. The demon container had transformed into their greatest hero, and the orphan with impossible dreams had achieved them through sheer determination and power that redefined what shinobi could accomplish. As Hokage, Naruto implemented changes that revolutionized Konoha. He established gold dust sensory networks throughout Fire Country, creating early warning systems that detected threats before they reached the village. He developed defensive barriers using his gold awakening that could protect entire districts from attack. He created training programs that taught young shinobi to think creatively about their abilities, to push past conventional limits like he had. But more importantly, he maintained the philosophy that had driven him from the beginning: protection over domination. His overwhelming power didn't lead to aggressive expansion or threats against other villages. Instead, it created stability that allowed diplomacy to flourish. "The Gold Emperor keeps the peace" became a common saying across the elemental nations. Villages that might have considered conflicts thought twice when they remembered Konoha's Hokage could transform battlefields into golden domains, could detect threats across hundreds of miles, could deploy techniques that rivaled natural disasters in destructive potential. Peace, enforced not through fear of annihilation, but through respect for overwhelming defensive capability, settled across the shinobi world. Years passed. Naruto refined his abilities further, developing techniques that merged gold manipulation with seal mastery, with sage mode, with every discipline he could study. His power grew until even the word legendary seemed insufficient to describe what he'd become. On his 20th birthday, standing atop the Hokage monument overlooking the village he protected countless times, Naruto reflected on the journey that had brought him here. From orphan to genin, from genin to gold wielder, from gold wielder to gold emperor, from gold emperor to Hokage, each step had required sacrifice, training, determination that refused to accept limits. "You did it." Kurama's voice rumbled in his mind. The Nine Tails had become a true partner over the years, their chakra so synchronized that they operated as one being. Everything you dreamed about as a kid, you achieved through power and will. "We did it," Naruto corrected. "You, me, everyone who believed in us when we were nothing." This wasn't a solo journey. It was thousands of people contributing to something greater than themselves. Gold dust formed patterns around him, not aggressive displays, but gentle flows that had become as natural as breathing. He could sense Konoha beneath him. Every civilian and shinobi going about their lives in safety, his power guaranteed. Could feel the gold network spreading across Fire Country, maintaining vigilance against threats that would never come because his reputation alone deterred them. This was peace. Real, lasting, built on foundation of strength used for protection rather than conquest. It wasn't perfect. Nothing ever was. But it was real, earned through countless battles and unwavering determination. And it was just the beginning. Because Naruto's dream had never been just to become Hokage. That was a milestone, not a destination. His real dream was larger, a world where children didn't suffer like he had, where their villages cooperated instead of warring, where power served to protect rather than threaten. That world was possible now. His gold had proven it. Overwhelming strength didn't have to lead to domination if wielded by someone committed to protection. And with decades of leadership ahead of him, Naruto would continue proving that lesson, would continue evolving his abilities, would continue protecting everyone until his dream became reality for the entire world. "Let's see what else we can accomplish," Naruto said to Kurama, to the village, to himself. Gold dust swirled around him in agreement, forming patterns that caught the sunlight and made the air itself shimmer with metallic beauty. The Gold Emperor of Konoha had achieved his dream. Now he would help the world achieve theirs. But even as peace settled, new challenges emerged, not threats of war, but questions about what happens when someone with godlike power decides to shape the world according to their vision. Naruto grappled with these questions daily, balancing the desire to use his abilities to solve every problem against the understanding that some struggles needed to be faced without intervention. When minor conflicts arose between civilian populations in Fire Country, Naruto resisted the urge to simply impose solutions through authority. Instead, he facilitated dialogues, provided mediation, created conditions where people could resolve issues themselves. His gold manipulation served as guarantee that violence wouldn't erupt, but the actual resolution came from the people involved. "You could just order them to stop," Shikamaru observed during one particularly frustrating negotiation between merchant groups. "Your word is law, they'd obey." "And learn nothing," Naruto replied, watching the merchants argue through a window overlooking the meeting room. "I'm not trying to create a world where everyone obeys me. I'm trying to create a world where everyone has the safety and freedom to make their own choices. My power protects that freedom. It doesn't replace it." It was a subtle distinction, but crucial. The difference between a tyrant with absolute power and a guardian with absolute power lay entirely in how that power was applied. Naruto chose the latter path deliberately, consciously, despite temptations to simply solve problems through force. But some situations required intervention. When a group of missing nine attempted to restart Akatsuki's legacy, claiming they would succeed where Madara had failed, Naruto responded with overwhelming force. His gold dust network detected their hideout within hours of their first meeting. His gold awakening transformed their entire base into a trap they couldn't escape. And his gold divine punishment ended their organization before it could truly begin. There's a difference between civilian disputes and active threats to world peace, Naruto explained to critics who questioned the brutal efficiency of his response. "I'll mediate the former, but I'll obliterate the latter. Anyone who threatens the peace we've built will face the full extent of my power. That's not tyranny, that's protection." The world learned to recognize that distinction. Konoha's Hokage would discuss, negotiate, and facilitate peaceful resolution to almost any conflict, but cross the line into genuine threat and face power that could reshape landscapes and end armies. Years continued passing. Naruto's legend grew until it transcended normal fame. Children across all nations grew up hearing stories of the Gold Emperor, the Hokage who could transform battlefields, whose determination had saved the world, whose power guaranteed peace. New generations of shinobi trained with his philosophy, strength for protection, power for peace, abilities developed not to dominate, but to defend. The entire shinobi culture shifted gradually, moving from glorification of combat to appreciation of protection. On his 30th birthday, Naruto stood once again atop the Hokage monument, but this time he wasn't alone. Team 7, now legendary Jonin themselves, joined him. Kakashi, retired from active duty but still sharp as ever. Sakura, the greatest medical ninja of her generation. And even Sasuke, who'd finally returned to Konoha years after the war ended, his own journey toward redemption complete. 15 years as Hokage, Kakashi observed, longer than any of your predecessors served during peacetime. And you've barely aged. Uzumaki longevity combined with Biju Chakra will probably keep you in this position for decades more. Good, Naruto replied. I'm not done yet. The world's more peaceful than it's been in centuries, but there's still work to do. Still injustices to address, still systems to improve, still dreams to help people achieve. You're talking about the academy reforms, Sakura said, referring to Naruto's latest project, restructuring how young shinobi were trained to emphasize development over competition, cooperation over rivalry. And the economic initiatives with the Land of Water, Sasuke added. And the cultural exchange programs, and the technological research divisions. You're trying to revolutionize the entire shinobi world simultaneously. Why not? Naruto grinned, that same confident smile that had carried him through countless battles. I've got the power to protect people while they work on these projects. Might as well use that protection to enable as much positive change as possible. Gold dust swirled around him unconsciously, forming patterns that had become his signature, flowing spirals that caught light and created subtle rainbows. The display was casual, effortless, demonstrating mastery so complete that godlike techniques manifested from pure reflex. You've come a long way from the genin who could barely control his gold, Kakashi said with genuine pride. I remember when creating a simple golden barrier required intense concentration. Now you maintain networks across half the continent without even thinking about it. Practice, Naruto replied simply. 15 years of constant use, constant refinement, constantly pushing to new levels. I'm stronger now than I was during the war, and I'll be stronger tomorrow than I am today. That's what it means to truly master an ability. You never stop evolving it. The conversation turned to reminiscences, battles fought, missions completed, friends lost and gained over the years. Team 7 had been through so much together, had witnessed Naruto's transformation from talented but naive genin to the most powerful shinobi in history. Do you ever regret it? Sasuke asked quietly. Having this much power, being responsible for an entire village, effectively for the whole world? You could have stayed a jonin, lived normally, avoided all this pressure. Never, Naruto replied without hesitation. This is exactly what I wanted. The ability to protect everyone, to make a difference, to prove that the demon container everyone feared was actually their greatest guardian. Every sacrifice was worth it. Every battle earned this peace. And I'd do it all again without changing a single thing. Thunder rumbled in the distance, a storm approaching from the east. But Naruto's gold dust sensory network had already detected it hours ago, had confirmed it was natural weather rather than some technique-based threat. And he'd positioned barriers to protect vulnerable civilian areas from potential flooding. You're doing it right now, Sakura observed with amusement, noticing his slight distraction. Managing a storm while having a conversation. You literally can't turn off the protective instincts. Why would I want to? Naruto replied. This is what Hokage means. Constant vigilance, constant protection, constant dedication to the village's well-being. I chose this responsibility. I'll never shirk it. The storm arrived, but its impact on Konoha was minimal. Naruto's barriers channeled rain away from areas that couldn't handle it, redirected wind that might have damaged buildings, and generally managed the weather's effects until only the beneficial aspects remained. Civilians barely noticed the storm beyond cooler temperatures and some pleasant rain sounds. Show off, Sasuke muttered, though his tone carried more affection than criticism. Practical application of abilities, Naruto corrected. Why let weather damage the village when I can prevent it with techniques that cost me basically no chakra? They stood together, watching the storm until it passed, comfortable in silence that spoke to years of partnership. Team 7 had started as 3 genin who barely tolerated each other, and 1 jonin instructor. They'd become a family bound by shared struggles, mutual respect, and recognition that together they'd shape the world into something better than what they'd inherited. Eventually, duty called them away. Kakashi to his grandchildren. He'd finally settled down after retirement. Sakura to the hospital where her latest medical research needed attention. Sasuke to border patrols. He still insisted on running despite Naruto's assurances that the Gold Dust Network would detect threats automatically. Naruto remained on the monument, watching his village settle into peaceful evening routines. Lights appeared in windows as families gathered for dinner. Streets cleared as shops closed. The normal, mundane patterns of civilian life that his power protected. This is what we fought for, he said to Kurama. Not glory, not fame, not even the Hokage title really. This peace, these normal lives, people living without fear because they know someone's watching over them. You're getting sentimental in your old age, Kurama teased, though the Biju's tone carried warmth. 30 isn't even old for normal humans, let alone Uzumaki with Biju chakra enhancement. I know, Naruto laughed. I'll probably be doing this for another century at least. Good thing I genuinely love the work. He descended from the monument using gold dust platforms that formed and dissolved beneath his feet. Casual application of techniques that would have exhausted him as a genin, but now required less effort than walking. The village greeted him with respectful nods and warm smiles. The fear that had once followed him completely replaced by genuine affection. A child, maybe 6 years old, ran up with a drawing of Naruto in his Hokage robes, golden aura surrounding him. Lord Hokage, I drew you. Can you sign it? Naruto knelt down to the child's level, accepting the picture with appropriate seriousness. This is really good. You captured my gold dust perfectly. Do you want to be an artist when you grow up? I want to be Hokage like you, the child announced with absolute confidence. I'm going to protect everyone with awesome techniques. Then work hard at the academy, Naruto replied, signing the picture. Study every subject, even the boring ones. Train your body and your mind, and never give up on your dreams, no matter how impossible they seem. That's my ninja way, and it can be yours too. The child ran off delighted, waving the signed picture at his parents. Naruto watched with satisfaction. This was the legacy he wanted. Not just peace maintained through overwhelming power, but inspiration for the next generation to pursue their own dreams with the same determination he'd shown. His evening continued with administrative work, reviewing reports, making decisions on village matters, signing documents that required Hokage approval. The paperwork was tedious, but Naruto had learned to appreciate it as the civilian side of protection. Infrastructure improvements protected people from preventable accidents. Economic policies protected them from poverty. Educational reforms protected them from ignorance. Every signed document was another small contribution to the village's well-being, and he approached each one with the same seriousness he'd once reserved for combat. Lord Hokage, his assistant interrupted during a particularly boring budget review. There's someone here to see you. Says it's important. Gaara entered the office, his expression serious. The Kazekage had aged well. His power over sand had only increased over the years, and his leadership had transformed Sunagakure into one of the most prosperous villages. Naruto, Gaara said, dispensing with formal titles they only used in public settings. We have a situation. Intelligence reports suggest someone's been researching Otsutsuki clan techniques, the ancient aliens who originally brought chakra to this world. Naruto's expression sharpened instantly. The Otsutsuki were legendary, beings of such immense power that even the sage of six paths had struggled against them. If someone was attempting to harness their techniques, tell me everything, Naruto commanded. Gold dust already flowing in response to the perceived threat. Gaara explained what his intelligence network had discovered. Hidden research facilities, ancient texts being studied, attempts to replicate techniques that shouldn't exist outside Otsutsuki bloodlines. The implications were disturbing. The world had finally achieved peace, and someone wanted to disrupt it with god-level power. We need to investigate before this becomes a crisis, Gaara concluded. But these research facilities are hidden in locations my sand can't reach easily. We need your gold dust sensory network to find them. Already on it, Naruto replied, expanding his awareness across the elemental nations. His gold dust network, refined over 15 years of continuous development, now spanned territories that would have been impossible during the war. He could sense disturbances in chakra patterns across thousands of miles, detect underground facilities that conventional sensors missed, identify threats before they fully manifested. Found 3 facilities, Naruto reported within minutes. One in Earth Country, abandoned recently. One in Water Country, still active with about 20 researchers. And one in Lightning Country, heavily fortified with defensive barriers that suggest whoever's running this has serious resources. How do we approach this? Gaara asked. Direct assault might destroy evidence we need, but surveillance risks them discovering our interest and fleeing. We do both simultaneously. Naruto decided. I'll handle the Lightning Country facility personally. My gold manipulation can penetrate their defenses without triggering alarms. You coordinate teams to the other 2 locations. We move tonight, capture or kill everyone involved, and end this research before it produces anything dangerous. They coordinated the operation with efficiency born from years of alliance. Naruto assembled a strike team of Konoha's best, Anbu, who trained specifically to work alongside his gold manipulation. Medical ninja prepared for potential casualties, sealing experts ready to contain whatever techniques they discovered. The assault on the Lightning Country facility demonstrated exactly why Naruto's reputation had grown to legendary status. His gold dust network detected every guard, every trap, every defensive technique before his team even approached. Gold binding restrained the exterior guards silently, preventing alarms. Gold barriers blocked sensory techniques that would have detected their infiltration. And when they finally breached the facility's inner sanctum, Naruto's gold awakening transformed the entire complex into a domain where resistance was impossible. "Don't bother fighting," Naruto announced to the researchers who'd been attempting to flee or destroy evidence. "My gold controls this entire facility now. Every exit is sealed. Every technique you try will fail. Surrender, answer our questions, and you'll live to see prison. Resist, and I'll bury you in the same gold you're standing on." They surrendered. What choice did they have against power that had reshaped battlefields and ended wars? The interrogation revealed disturbing information. The researchers had indeed been studying Otsutsuki techniques, attempting to replicate abilities that could manipulate time, space, and reality itself. Their ultimate goal was to create artificial vessels for Otsutsuki consciousness, effectively resurrecting the ancient aliens by providing them bodies to inhabit. "Why?" Naruto demanded, genuinely confused. "The world's at peace. Villages cooperate. People live safely. Why risk all that for power you can barely control?" "Because peace is temporary," the lead researcher replied with fanatical conviction. "Eventually, conflicts will arise. Nations will war again. And when that happens, whoever controls Otsutsuki power will dominate the world. We wanted that power for our village to ensure we survive the next war." "There won't be a next war," Naruto stated flatly. "I won't allow it. My gold manipulation provides protection sufficient to prevent conflicts before they escalate to warfare. The world has learned that lesson. Cooperation benefits everyone more than competition. You've wasted years pursuing power that's unnecessary in the world we've built." He sealed the research, destroyed the facilities, and imprisoned the researchers. The other two locations yielded similar results. Misguided individuals who couldn't accept that peace might be permanent, who saw the current era as temporary lull rather than fundamental shift. "People will always fear the future," Gaara observed after the operation concluded successfully. "They'll see the peace we've built and assume it's fragile, temporary, ready to shatter at any moment. Then we prove them wrong by maintaining it," Naruto replied. "Every year without major conflict strengthens the peace. Every generation that grows up in stability makes war seem more foreign. Give it time. Eventually, the idea of villages warring will seem as ridiculous as it should." But the incident reminded Naruto that his role wasn't finished. Peace required constant maintenance. Threats needed constant vigilance, and complacency remained the greatest danger to everything they'd built. He intensified his gold dust networks, expanded surveillance to detect similar research before it progressed far enough to become dangerous, and implemented new policies that encouraged cooperation over competition among villages. Each initiative aimed at making peace not just a temporary condition, but a permanent foundation for shinobi civilization. Years continued passing in this pattern. Peaceful development punctuated by occasional threats that Naruto's overwhelming power neutralized before they could grow serious. The Gold Emperor became a constant presence in world affairs, his influence extending far beyond Konoha's borders, while never crossing into domination. On his 50th birthday, Naruto attended a summit of all 5 Kage, now the longest serving among them, having outlasted 2 generations of leaders from other villages. They gathered not to discuss threats or conflicts, but to celebrate 25 years without major warfare, an achievement unprecedented in shinobi history. "A quarter century of peace," the Mizukage said, raising a toast. Some attribute it to political evolution, economic interdependence, cultural exchange. But we all know the real reason. No village wants to face Konoha's Hokage in battle. "Peace through deterrence," the Tsuchikage agreed. "Your gold manipulation provides protection that makes aggression seem foolish." It's more than just deterrence, Gaara corrected. The Kazekage had served even longer than Naruto and understood his philosophy deeply. Naruto's power creates space for other solutions to work. Diplomacy succeeds because force isn't necessary. Economics flourish because resources don't need militarization. People pursue dreams because survival isn't consuming all their energy. The gold manipulation doesn't just deter threats, it enables everything else we've built. That was always the goal, Naruto said quietly. Power for protection, protection for possibility, possibility for peace. I'm not trying to control the world. I'm trying to create a world where control isn't necessary because everyone benefits from cooperation. The summit concluded with agreements to continue current policies: alliance, cooperation, shared prosperity. The 5 great villages had effectively become a single confederation, united by mutual interest, and Naruto's gold serving as guarantee that conflicts wouldn't escalate beyond management. But even as Naruto celebrated this achievement, he recognized his own mortality looming, not immediately, but inevitably. Uzumaki longevity and Bijou chakra had kept him young far beyond normal human limits, but he was still fundamentally mortal. Eventually, perhaps decades from now, he would die. And when that happened, would the peace die with him? You're thinking about succession, Kurama observed, reading his Jinchuriki's thoughts as easily as always, wondering if the world can maintain peace without your power enforcing it. Exactly, Naruto admitted. I've built a system that depends on my abilities. My gold dust networks provide security. My power deters aggression. But when I'm gone, how does the world maintain this peace? The same way it maintained peace before shinobi existed, Kurama replied. Through culture, through systems, through people choosing cooperation over conflict. Your power created the space for those things to develop. But they don't depend on your power to persist. They stand on their own now. It was a comforting thought, though Naruto remained uncertain. He'd spent decades using his abilities to solve problems, and transitioning to a world where those abilities weren't available required faith that the systems he'd helped establish could function independently. So he began preparing consciously for eventual succession. He trained promising young shinobi, passing on not just techniques, but philosophy. He strengthened institutions that could maintain order without relying on overwhelming individual power. He wrote extensively about his experiences, creating texts future generations could study to understand the principles that had guided his leadership. You're writing your legacy while you're still alive, his assistant observed, reviewing another manuscript Naruto had completed. Most leaders wait until they're dying to worry about how they'll be remembered. I'm not worried about being remembered, Naruto replied. I'm worried about the world forgetting lessons we learned through hard experience. If my writings help future leaders avoid mistakes, maintain peace, or inspire determination, then they serve a purpose beyond ego. His training programs produced exceptional results. Young shinobi raised with his philosophy approached problems differently than previous generations. They sought cooperative solutions before resorting to force, developed abilities for protection rather than aggression, and genuinely believed peace was achievable rather than temporary fantasy. You're creating a culture shift, Shikamaru observed during a discussion about academy curriculum reforms. Not just changing how we train shinobi, but changing what we train them to be. In another generation, the idea of villages as competing nations will seem outdated. That's the goal, Naruto agreed. My power can force peace temporarily, but lasting peace requires people who choose it voluntarily, who see cooperation as natural rather than exceptional. If we can raise enough generations with that mindset, eventually it becomes self-sustaining. The years of his 50s brought increasing focus on this cultural transformation. Naruto traveled extensively, visiting villages and speaking directly to citizens about the peace they built together. His speeches emphasized collective achievement rather than individual power, how people working together had created prosperity that benefited everyone. But he never neglected the practical protection that made that cooperation possible. His gold dust networks continued expanding, his techniques continued evolving, his readiness to respond to threats never wavered. Peace required both vision and vigilance, and Naruto maintained both with equal dedication. On his 60th birthday, something unprecedented occurred. The 5 great villages collectively proposed eliminating the title of Kage entirely, replacing village-specific leadership with a unified council representing all nations. The proposal recognized that borders between villages had become increasingly arbitrary, that cooperation had evolved beyond alliance into something approaching true unity. "This is beyond what I imagined," Naruto admitted during the summit where the proposal was formally discussed. Eliminating the Kage positions means fundamentally restructuring how shinobi civilization governs itself. "It's the natural evolution of everything we've built," Gaara replied. Village rivalries made sense when resources were scarce and threats external. But we've created abundance through cooperation, and the primary threats we face now are internal, individuals trying to disrupt peace rather than villages competing for dominance. A unified government serves that new reality better than separated villages maintaining distinct leadership. The debate was extensive. Some argued that village identities mattered, that distinct cultures shouldn't be homogenized, that centralized authority risked tyranny. Others countered that cooperation had already blurred village distinctions, that cultures could be preserved without political separation, that distributed council representation prevented individual tyranny better than separated Kage positions. Naruto listened to all arguments carefully before offering his perspective. "I won't make this decision unilaterally. My power gives me influence, but this choice affects everyone, so everyone should have voice. Put it to popular vote. Let citizens of all 5 villages decide whether they want unified government or continued separation. Whatever they choose, I'll support." The vote took months to organize. Naruto personally ensured it was fair. His gold dust networks prevented manipulation, detected fraud attempts, and guaranteed that every citizen could vote freely without coercion. The process itself became a lesson in democratic governance that previous generations had never experienced. The result was decisive. Nearly 70% voted for unified government. Citizens recognized that cooperation had benefited them more than competition, that shared prosperity exceeded village-specific success, that the future looked brighter as a united civilization than as separated nations. The transition took years to complete. Village structures didn't disappear overnight. They transformed into regional administrations within the larger unified government. The Kage positions were replaced by council seats, where former village leaders continued serving their constituents. Now, as representatives in collective leadership, rather than independent authorities, Naruto became the first president of the United Shinobi Council, a ceremonial position that recognized his contributions while distributing actual governing power among representatives from all regions. It was a role that leveraged his abilities for protection while preventing concentration of authority in ways that could lead to tyranny. "You're diminishing your own power voluntarily," Kurama observed. "Most leaders accumulate authority. You're systematically distributing it." "Because concentrated power corrupts," Naruto replied. "I've been fortunate. My goals aligned with peace. My power served protection. But future leaders might not share those values. Better to create systems that don't depend on individual virtue to function properly." His 70s brought continued refinement of these systems. The United Shinobi Council proved surprisingly effective. Representatives genuinely worked to solve problems rather than compete for advantage. Policies benefited broad populations rather than specific villages, and resources flowed toward needs rather than political priorities. And through it all, Naruto's gold manipulation continued, providing the security that made peaceful governance possible. His networks detected threats before they materialized. His barriers protected against the occasional violence that still erupted, and his presence reminded everyone that disrupting peace would face overwhelming response. But he also noticed age finally catching up. His chakra reserves remained vast, his techniques as powerful as ever, but recovery took longer. Injuries that would have healed overnight now required days. Exhaustion accumulated where it once dispersed immediately. "You're still stronger than anyone alive," Sakura assured him during a medical examination on his 80th birthday. But Uzumaki longevity isn't infinite, and even Biju chakra can't prevent aging entirely. You need to start thinking about limiting your activity. maybe training a successor who can take over the protective duties. I'm not retiring yet, Naruto replied stubbornly. The world still needs protection, and I'm still capable of providing it. For how long? Sakura challenged gently. Another decade? 2? Eventually your body will fail regardless of how strong your will remains. Better to transition gradually while you can still guide the process than to leave a sudden vacuum when you die. She was right, though Naruto hated admitting it. He'd spent 80 years being the Gold Emperor, the ultimate protector, the shinobi whose power guaranteed peace. Transitioning to mere advisory role felt like abandoning responsibility, but he recognized that his emotional attachment to the position didn't change practical reality. At some point, he would need to step back. Not completely, but enough that the world learned to function without depending entirely on his power. So he began training in earnest the next generation's protectors. Not to replace him exactly, his gold manipulation was unique, his power unprecedented, but to develop shinobi who could collectively provide similar security through coordinated abilities rather than individual dominance. The program produced impressive results. Teams specialized in sensory networks could detect threats almost as effectively as his gold dust, though requiring more personnel. Groups focused on defensive barriers could protect population centers, though needing coordination, his awakening provided instinctively. Strike forces trained in rapid response could neutralize dangers, though lacking his overwhelming power scale. It takes dozens of specialists to equal what you do casually, his training coordinator reported. But the principle works. Collective capability can substitute for individual dominance if properly organized. Good enough, Naruto approved. I'm not trying to create another Gold Emperor. I'm trying to ensure the world can maintain peace after I'm gone. If that requires teams rather than individuals, so be it. His 90th birthday arrived with celebration that spanned the entire United Shinobi civilization. Citizens gathered not just to honor Naruto personally, but to recognize 70 years of sustained peace, an achievement that had transformed the world beyond recognition. Children who'd grown up during this era couldn't even imagine warfare between villages. The concept seemed as foreign to them as shinobi abandoning chakra use. Peace wasn't temporary condition anymore. It was fundamental assumption about how the world worked. This is what we built, Naruto said during the celebration, addressing citizens through communications networks that carried his speech across the entire civilization. Not just me, everyone who chose cooperation over competition, who built bridges instead of walls, who saw former enemies as potential friends. My gold manipulation provided security during the transition, but you created the culture that made peace sustainable. That's the real achievement, and it's all yours. The speech was vintage Naruto, deflecting personal credit toward collective achievement, emphasizing that power without people choosing to use it well accomplished nothing. It captured perfectly the philosophy that had guided his entire life. But after the celebration ended and crowds dispersed, Naruto sat alone in his office. No longer Hokage's office, but still the workspace where he reviewed reports and made decisions that affected billions, and contemplated his remaining time. 90 years old, still powerful beyond measure, still capable of transforming battlefields and ending threats, still possessing abilities that made him effectively invincible within his gold domains, but undeniably aging, inevitably approaching the end of even Uzumaki longevity. How much longer? He asked Kurama quietly. Decades, maybe, the Biju replied. Your chakra network is still strong, your body resilient, but you're mortal, Naruto. Eventually, even you will die. And when I do, the world continues, Kurama said with certainty. You've built systems that don't depend on you, trained people who understand your philosophy, created culture where peace is natural rather than exceptional. Your death will be loss, but not catastrophe. That's the greatest achievement, making yourself unnecessary while still being irreplaceable. It was a paradox that captured perfectly what Naruto had spent his life building. He remained irreplaceable. No one could duplicate his exact capabilities, his unique combination of gold manipulation and Biju chakra and Uzumaki heritage. But the world no longer needed those exact capabilities to function, because he'd created alternatives that achieved similar results through different means. The years of his 90s saw gradual reduction in active duty. He maintained his gold dust networks, responded to genuine threats, and provided ultimate guarantee of security. But day-to-day protection transitioned to the teams he'd trained, the systems he'd established, the culture he'd cultivated. It was strange being advisory rather than primary. Strange watching others handle situations he could have resolved instantly with casual technique use. Strange accepting that his role was diminishing by design. But it was also satisfying, because every day the world functioned well without requiring his direct intervention proved that peace had become self-sustaining. That the systems worked independently of his power. That his eventual death wouldn't shatter everything he'd built. On his 100th birthday, Naruto stood once more atop the Hokage monument, now preserved as historical site rather than active leadership center, but still the place where he'd contemplated his journey countless times. Century of life, 80+ years of using gold manipulation, 70 years as leader in various capacities, and through it all, unwavering commitment to protecting people and maintaining peace. "We did it," Naruto said to Kurama, to himself, to the world spread beneath him. "Everything we set out to accomplish, we did it. Protected Konoha, defeated threats, built peace that lasted, created systems that will persist after we're gone. That's enough." "Thinking about retiring?" Kurama asked. "Thinking about accepting that I already have," Naruto replied with slight smile. "I'm not the Gold Emperor anymore, not really. That role transitioned years ago to collective protection through teams and systems. I'm just the old man who built those things, still watching to make sure they work properly." "And do they?" "Perfectly," Naruto confirmed. "Better than I hoped, honestly. The world doesn't need me anymore. Doesn't need overwhelming individual power to maintain peace. People choose cooperation naturally now, see it as normal rather than exceptional. That's victory, making my own role obsolete." He stood there for hours, watching the sun set over civilization he'd protected for a century. Watched lights appear in windows as families gathered. Watched streets fill with citizens going about peaceful lives. Watched the normal, mundane existence that his power had defended until it could defend itself. "Beautiful," Naruto murmured. "Absolutely beautiful." The gold dust around him formed one final pattern, elaborate spirals that caught the sunset light, creating rainbow effects visible across the city. It was casual display, effortless technique, but also farewell to active duty. Acknowledgement that his time as primary protector had passed, that new generation now defended the peace he'd established. Naruto descended the monument slowly, his body feeling the century of life for perhaps the first time. He was still strong, would probably remain dangerous for years more, but the will to fight had finally faded. He'd done everything he'd set out to accomplish, protected everyone he'd promised to defend, and built legacy that would persist long after his death. His remaining years passed in gentle retirement. He advised occasionally when requested, maintained minimal gold dust networks for emergency situations that never arose, and spent most of his time writing detailed accounts of his experiences for future generations to study. The writings became treasure trove of wisdom, not just combat techniques, but philosophy of protection, principles of leadership, understanding of how power should serve people rather than dominate them. They would influence shinobi civilization for centuries, shaping how future leaders approached their responsibilities. On a quiet morning in his 107th year, Naruto Uzumaki died peacefully in his sleep. The gold dust that had surrounded him for a century dispersed naturally, returning to the earth from which it had been drawn. The network spanning the civilization dissolved. The awakening he'd maintained at low level for decades faded, and the Nine Tails, freed from its Jinchuriki, but choosing to remain connected to the world they'd protected together, became guardian spirit rather than active power. The world mourned, not just Konoha, not just as the shinobi civilization, but billions of people across territories that had experienced peace because of Naruto's protection. Memorials appeared everywhere. Tributes poured in from nations and cultures he'd never directly interacted with. And the consensus emerged that they'd lost something irreplaceable. But they also recognized that Naruto's legacy persisted beyond his death. The systems he'd built continued functioning. The culture he'd cultivated kept choosing peace. The philosophy he demonstrated, power for protection, protection for possibility, possibility for peace, remained fundamental to how civilization governed itself. His funeral attracted representatives from every nation, every culture, every group that had benefited from his protection. They gathered not just to honor his passing, but to celebrate his life. The orphan who'd become the Gold Emperor, the Jinchuriki who'd become beloved leader, the boy with impossible dreams who'd made them reality through determination and power. He made us better, the current president of the United Shinobi Council said during the eulogy. Not through force, not through domination, but by demonstrating that power could serve protection. He showed us what we could become if we chose cooperation over competition. And he built systems that persist beyond his personal capabilities. That's the real legacy, not the gold manipulation, not the military achievements, but the transformation of how we approach fundamental questions of power and society. They buried him beside the Hokage monument in a ceremony that merged traditions from every culture in the united civilization. And above his grave, they erected a statue, not of the Gold Emperor in combat stance, but of Naruto Uzumaki smiling warmly, his hand extended in welcome, gold dust flowing around him in gentle spirals. The inscription read simply, "The Gold Emperor, who protected peace until peace could protect itself." Decades later, historians would debate Naruto's impact endlessly. Some argued his gold manipulation had been crucial, that without his overwhelming power, the transition to peace would have failed. Others insisted the power was secondary, that his philosophy and determination would have succeeded regardless of his abilities. But everyone agreed on one fundamental truth. Naruto Uzumaki had changed the world permanently. Not through conquest, not through domination, but by demonstrating that protection could be more powerful than aggression. That cooperation benefited everyone more than competition. That peace was achievable if people were willing to choose it and defend it. The gold had given him power. But Naruto had given the world something more valuable, proof that power could serve humanity's highest aspirations rather than lowest impulses. And that legacy would endure long after the last grain of gold dust had settled into the earth. The end.
Thank you for exploring this golden timeline with us. The shinobi world is full of infinite possibilities. To see what other epic destinies we unravel, subscribe and join the discussion below. Your support is more valuable than gold, and we'll see you in the next What If?